they may have about them. Senator Tom Cotton lays out a host of complaints about China's influence in the U.S. in a new book entitled 7 Things You Can't Say About China.
China runs massive espionage networks that has infiltrated not just the federal government, but state and local government as well, and corporate America and our academic universities. And it is high time that we cut it off.
Senator Cotton spoke with the Salem Radio Network. Changes coming to the FBI's director, Christopher Wray, has announced he'll be resigning. That departure will come 3 years before the end of what would have been his 10-year term comes to completion. And Donald Trump has already named Kash Patel to head up the FBI. On Wall Street, Dow futures up right now by 49 points. S&P futures higher by 12 points. And NASDAQ composite futures up about 70. More from townhall.com.
Right now, with an important alert, home title fraud is one of the fastest growing white-collar crimes in the country. Criminals can make millions on your house without you even knowing it. Michael, you were one of those criminals?
Yeah, that's right. I was responsible for about $16 million in equity theft and title fraud.
Wow.
And to be honest, it was easy to do. It's just paperwork. So by the time you find out what's happening, the equity in your home is already gone.
So how do you keep your property and equity safe? For more, here's Action News reporter Ron Stevens.
Well, Monica, an in-depth investigation found there's actually just one company that prevents this type of crime from happening: Equity Protect. Equity Protect scans, monitors, alerts, and most importantly, protects you from any attempts to tamper with or steal your home equity and ownership 24 hours a day. Other companies merely monitor. Equity Protect stops the crime from happening. Find out if you're already a victim or take a free risk assessment today at equityprotect.com. That's equityprotect.com.
ABC News has agreed to pay $15 million toward Donald Trump's presidential library. That settles a lawsuit over anchor George Stephanopoulos' inaccurate on-air claim that the president-elect had been found civilly liable for sexual assault.
In addition to payout for the library, ABC will also have to post a notice of regret on its website and has to pay $1 million for Trump's legal fees.
That is Jackie Quinn. The European Central Bank cutting interest rates by 1/4 point.
The cut comes amid signs of weakening growth and concern about the impact of political chaos in France and the possibility of new U.S. import tariffs. The bank's rate-setting committee made the decision to lower the benchmark rate from 3.25% to 3%. Lower rates should support growth amid signs that the post-pandemic recovery is slowing in the 20 countries that use the euro currency.
That's Jeremy House reporting breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Julie Walker reports on a fantasy flight going all the way to the North Pole for some very special children.
United Airlines partners with the Make-A-Wish Foundation to fly 100 kids on a fantasy trip to see Santa.
Who's ready to go to the North Pole?
Boarding in Denver and landing back at a hangar, they're transformed into the North Pole with Santa, elves, toys, and games, delighting Bryce Bosley.
The North Pole is fun because there's games, food.
Longtime Captain Bob Zimmerman says throughout the year he often reflects on this day.
If we could do that every day, what a world it would be. So to see the joy in these kids when they truly believe they're going to North Pole to see Santa Claus.
Saturday's event was part of United's annual holiday season fantasy flights at airports around the world. I'm Julie Walker.
You'll find more on these stories at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Bob Agnew.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm First Alert meteorologist Kristen Cornett with your forecast. Expect rain moving in late tonight. That'll continue through the overnight hours. You might even hear a few rumbles of thunder. Some patchy fog possible, and temperatures actually climbing a few degrees overnight. We'll start Monday around 53 degrees. Cloudy skies early, becoming sunny in the afternoon with a high of 60, a little bit breezy at times, winds gusting to 25 miles per hour. Clear skies Monday night will drop to 35, and for Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high of 53. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Kristen Cornell.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
Hey, it's Vic. Are you worried about rising taxes? Well, you're not alone. With government spending outpacing revenue, many Americans fear a tax hike is on the horizon. But here's the good news. you have options. Chris Cooper of Serenity Wealth Management specializes in tax-efficient strategies for income planning, legacy, and growth. Chris knows your money will go to one of three places: the government, healthcare, or your family and charities. Shouldn't your loved ones come first? Don't let Uncle Sam be your biggest beneficiary. Take control of your financial future today. Visit SerenityNowTax.com for your free copy of Chris's book, The New Holistic Retirement. Serenity Wealth Management, because you deserve peace of mind in retirement. Request your free book today at SerenityNowTax.com. That's SerenityNowTax.com to get your free copy of The New Holistic Retirement. That's SerenityNowTax.com. Serenity Now with Chris Cooper.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors.
The news and talk.
The president had long said he would not pardon his son.
I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that.
That matters to St. Louis.
We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands.
This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
And this is the Fox News Rundown.
Monday, December 16th, 2024. I'm Mike Emanuel. President-elect Trump has gotten off to a very fast start with his transition, selecting nominees for many top positions. After confirmation hearings and votes in January, then it will be all about advancing the Trump agenda.
The president's agenda is the Senate's agenda, and we just got to get in and get it done.
We're joined by South Dakota Senator Mike Rounds.
I'm Chris Foster. Electronics under the Christmas tree can mean screen time battles and tech tantrums.
Making sure that you have books on hand, crafts, puzzles, board games, if there's more than one child in the household. I think those alternatives are really important to keep them busy when their technology time comes to a close.
And I'm John Rich. I've got the final word on the Fox News Rundown.
In the new year, a new Republican-led Congress will be eager to get off to a fast start, advancing President-elect Trump's agenda. Utah Republican Senator Mike Lee talked about taking on some of the big priorities.
We do plan to get to the extension of the tax cuts. There is a fair amount of technical work that has to be done in connection with the extension of the tax cuts, as well as advancing other priorities of President Trump in the tax code, like no taxes on cash tips for servers and so forth. And so the thought is we can do two in a year.
Missouri Republican Congressman Jason Smith, who chairs the House Ways and Means Committee, had a different perspective on how to pass border and tax reform.
I believe that the one package is the quickest and best approach to deliver these victories for the American people, and that's why we've been advocating for it. We're not advocating and disagreeing on the policies. It's just trying to move forward.
For now, President-elect Trump's cabinet nominees are making the rounds on Capitol Hill ahead of confirmation hearings in January. But some allies of the president-elect have threatened primary challenges to GOP senators who vote against Trump nominees. West Virginia Republican Senator Shelley Moore Capito says that is not productive.
We just won an election where the Republicans took the House, the Senate, and the president overwhelmingly. Why in the world are we shooting at each other and trying to divide another and threaten primaries? I think it's a useless exercise, quite frankly. I think what we should be doing is formulating how we're going to get tax reform, how we're going to close the border, how we're going to make better economic decisions, all the things that people voted on.
Meanwhile, the drone drama continues, spotted flying over New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and it's apparently spreading. Congressman Jim Himes, the top Democrat on House Intelligence, expressed this concern.
10 years ago, none of us ever had heard of a drone, and now it is a very powerful piece of technology that can be misused. I guess what I'm saying is let's not jump immediately to Iranians, to Chinese, to Martians, and the government has a real responsibility to put more information out there so people better understand what the real dangers are.
As lawmakers try getting answers for the American people.
At any one of our military bases, the base commander has the ability to take action against any one of these drones.
South Dakota Republican Senator Mike Rounds.
I think there's a pretty strong belief that most of these are civilian drones. They're being operated by people here in the U.S. They're ones that you can get on the market. Most of them have got the appropriate lighting on them, so it's not like these are unique or anything. The question on it is what are they doing, and whether or not they're going to be trying to get into, invading people's privacy, and what their intent is. Are they trying to get information about select sites and so forth? I have not been happy with the way that the administration has not really come forward and just basically said, here's the deal. We could shoot them down if we needed to, but we simply haven't figured out anything that they've done that's bad yet. And but we have the capabilities right now. We could go in and we could take out any one of them, and we wouldn't have to even be kinetic. We wouldn't have to shoot them down. We've got other ways of doing it. But I think what they're concerned about is that unless they're actually doing something illegal, they're an item of interest, but they are not an item which is threatening anybody. So I think that's kind of the problem that they're having right now at the administration level. And I think they need to get their act together and basically come out and be more forthright to the American people and tell them, basically what they think these drones might be doing. And it doesn't appear that they are a threat to anybody, but nonetheless, a little more information would be very helpful to the public.
Senator, earlier this year, you proposed a set of bipartisan artificial intelligence bills, such a hot topic these days. What are you looking to do as we enter a new Congress in a bipartisan way to kind of give some guardrails on the issue of artificial intelligence?
Really good question. Artificial intelligence is here. It's not going away. The one thing that we want to make sure is that we are incentivizing the development of these really powerful capabilities here in the United States and not elsewhere. We want the private developers that are out there to work with the federal government so that our Department of Defense has access to these capabilities right now, and that we stay ahead of our adversaries in that regard. We use it right now on our ships to do our defensive capabilities. We use it in our space operations today. We will continue to use it to develop our strategies within the Department of Defense. But I think the one thing that we also want to do is to develop the capabilities with regard to healthcare and financial services. So we're putting together a whole series of separate bills that have to do with particular areas of our economy. And so rather than one great big mega bill, we had kind of decided that we would use the expertise that you find in the different committees, whether it be the Commerce Committee, the Judiciary Committee, Health and Human Services, the Department of Defense, the Intel Committee, with each of them responsible for looking at where artificial intelligence could impact the areas of interest for their particular committee. So in the Department of Defense, we've directed that AI capabilities be used with regard to our planning and so forth. And one of the best examples is within, our shipyards and so forth, using AI to actually make our shipyards more efficient and directing DOD to incorporate that. The same thing with our armories and so forth, and the planning for getting our munitions back in order so that the supply chains are coordinated better than what they are today. All of these can be improved using artificial intelligence. At the same time, healthcare, we know that if we incorporate this ability to make high-speed decisions and to integrate huge amounts of data in a very short period of time, the vast majority of some of the most serious illnesses that inflict or that we pay for at the federal level, but that also really inflict a lot of human misery, we can either delay the onset of them or we can cure them. And a lot of that can be done within a 5-year period of time. So we're very excited about it. And we don't want our adversaries to get ahead of us. We need to be one step ahead of them at all times.
Now let's look ahead to the second Trump administration. The president-elect has some appointees that have to get through the Senate that are facing what are expected to be tough confirmation proceedings. How are you feeling about those nominees like Pete Hegseth, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, and Kash Patel?
I think the president really, he's way ahead of the ball game with regard to the number of nominees that he's already got, in front of the public, and that's going to help get them done. We can't actually start on the open hearings and so forth until after we reform in January. But to be able to go in and to meet personally with all these folks has been very helpful. I've had really good meetings so far with Pete and with Tulsi. I expect that we're going to have a number of other goods. Mr. Ratcliffe, I had a good meeting with. And there's a part of this process that I think sometimes gets kind of lost in the translation. It looks like Republicans are being critical of the president's noms. It's really not being critical of them. It's more on the lines of what can we do to help coach or advise them in getting through the public process of open hearings. Because our Democrat colleagues are going to be, on attack, and they're going to be asking really hard questions. Part of what our role is in the Senate is to be kind of that advisor or that coach in terms of the issues that they're going to face in front of the public and what they can do to maintain a very good, healthy public front in these hearings. And so what we try to do is go in advance, meet with them privately, ask hard questions of them, and give them advice about how they should perhaps be prepared to respond to those in a public setting. And some of those allegations that have been made or some of the criticisms that have been leveled against them, if they take their time and they work with their advisors, they can do a really good job of responding to them in the public. And that way a president is not embarrassed by any one of these individuals, and it makes it a whole lot easier to get bipartisan support for them. So that's our goal. We've got a lot of work to be done in a very short period of time. And it's one of the reasons why Senator Thune has laid out a very aggressive work schedule that we haven't seen in quite a while in the Senate.
Some allies of the president-elect have taken to threatening senators online about possible primary challenges when they raise a concern or a question about a particular nominee. Is that kind of a dangerous thing, considering you all need to remain unified to get the Trump agenda passed?
Yeah, we all of us face, political threats of having a primary. That's a normal part of the process that we've all faced in the past. The challenge for us is to keep the entire team together and to identify those times in which the allegations simply aren't fair. And a really good example was Joni Ernst, who is a really solid member of our conference and who has been a loyal member to getting President Trump's agenda in place. And she was aggressively attacked by outside groups threatening her, suggesting misinformation that, that basically she was giving Pete a hard time because she wanted the job. And that simply is not true, and it never should have been allowed to get out. And people need to come to her defense in that kind of a case, because the far-right groups that were doing this, thinking they were helping the president, made it a lot more difficult for her to get her work done while asking legitimate questions about allegations that Pete, needs to be able to answer in a public forum. And so, look, but we're used to having those types of things, but we're one team. We want to keep that team together. And, once again, there are better ways to approach this the way that some of the far-right groups have tried to do.
Finally, we've heard you mention Senator Thune several times. I'm curious, what does it mean to the great state of South Dakota to have the next majority leader from your state?
We're looking for common sense. And John has a huge amount of it. I've known John for close to 40 years. We've worked together on issues. I could just tell you, what you see in public is what he's like in private. He's straightforward. People are going to like his openness. They're going to like the fact that he wants to get back to regular order. He respects the role that the Senate has to play in our country with regard to policy making and so forth. And he also recognizes all of the frustrations that members of the Senate on both sides of the aisle have had with not being able to bring bills to the floor of the Senate, having the appropriations bill all jammed up until the very end of the year. So it's a vote yes to either fund government or a vote no to shut government down, which is what we're always faced with under the current leadership in the Senate. And both sides are tired of it. So we're going to try to do more of the appropriation bills. You're going to see more of the committee work come to the floor of the Senate. You're going to see us back in working more hours, but hopefully we'll be able to get the noms through, get the president's team in place, get the president's agenda laid out. And oh, by the way, there was a lot of information out there that the president and John Thune, were not working together, and that is not true. They have been in contact. They've been working together. The president's agenda is the Senate's agenda, and we just got to get in and get it done. So we're optimistic. This is the right direction for America to go, and we want to get those tax policies back in place and extended so that we don't have a huge tax increase. That's really important. And also what the president wants, which is to have a lethal Department of Defense. That's right on the agenda as well. And we'll do that before President's Day of this year. So, yeah, John Thune is the right guy to run the Senate, and he'll bring people together.
Senator Mike Rounds of the great state of South Dakota, my best to you and your family this Christmas season. Thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you, sir.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and newstalkstl.com.
Hey guys, so you've heard me talking a lot about the KardioMobile EKG devices. So you know already they're the most advanced personal EKGs on the market. And now these amazing devices are at their lowest prices of the year, but only for a couple more weeks. I can't think of a better gift to give to a loved one. I mentioned that my dad has one. He loves it. Than the gift of managing their heart health. On the go, between doctor's visits, even while traveling. These things let you take a medical-grade EKG in just 30 seconds, right on your phone, and now you can get one, listen to this, for just $69. They can even detect AFib, which is a leading cause of stroke. I'm telling you, these prices are not going to last. $69 for the best-selling KardioMobile device. There's no better gift for yourself or a loved one, and at this price, there's no better time than right now. Go to Kardia.com, KARDIA.com, or Amazon, and order your KardioMobile today. Sponsored by AliveCor.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There is a tremendous price war in the term life industry. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man aged 45, non-smoker, can get $1 million of coverage for $75 per month, level rate for 10 years. Or a man aged 50, non-smoker, can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of $110, level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote. 1-800-908-7636. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-908-7636. Remember, 1-800-908-7636. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-smoker rate class. Exam required.
Colombo and Company.
On Monday, we'll get you up to speed on all the important news you need to start your week, plus Virginia Cruder from the Daily Wire at 2:20 and tech expert Mike McCleary at 3:05.
Live and local, weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Replacing your roof is always a big deal and a big decision. That's why I want you to call my friends, the folks that we've trusted with our homestead, Eureka Contracting and Roofing. 636-938-ROOF. That's 636-938-ROOF. They are veteran-owned, over 30 years of experience in the construction and insurance industry. They'll replace 100% of your roof, siding, fascia, and gutters. They'll come to you with a personal consultation. Give them a call anytime that Mother Nature strikes you. 636-938-ROOF. Available 24/7 at eurekacontracting.com. That's eurekacontracting.com.
Hi, Sean Long with STL Fenceworks. Our company realized another extraordinary year of great business. I thank God for engineering our success and for this great nation and all the blessings it offers those who persevere and work hard. Second, I want to personally thank the great customers who put their faith in our company to make their home and backyard dreams a vision fulfilled. STL Fenceworks doesn't exist without you, and I'm humbled and grateful for your patronage. I also want to thank all my great employees. You're the backbone of STL Fenceworks. You make my vision a reality. I'm truly honored to work amongst such fine people. Finally, as the year ends, I want to remind everyone to take time to enjoy the season. Embrace your family and friends, count the blessings in your life. Reflect on the important things, and don't forget the true meaning of Christmas. When a baby was born, Jesus, our Savior. On behalf of everyone at STL Fenceworks, have a very Merry Christmas and a blessed and prosperous New Year.
Tim Jones here for Comprehensive Chiropractic in Eureka, the premier chiropractic and sports performance facility in the region. They've helped me recover from day-to-day aches and pains for years. And here's something special, personal training programs. Whether you're an athlete committed to increasing performance, recovering from an injury, or just want to get healthier and lose weight, their personal training programs will help you reach your goals and stay there. Comprehensive Chiropractic in Eureka, online at cchiropractic.com. That's cchiropractic.com.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you for taking my call. Thank you very much for taking my call.
Every day, something new. No one else is really talking about this.
I'm glad you're fired up about it, too. Trump's doing the right thing. You know, there's so many issues.
It's over.
I think you're politically wrong.
Very upset.
I will have to agree with you. You're one of the sweetest guys in the world. For a guy who's so bad on politics.
101.9 and 94.1.
Your platform is like really, really important to us.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Deportes, and available at noticias.foxnews.com, the Fox Noticias YouTube page, and Fox Nation. Or listen and follow the podcast at foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Now, a look at what's happening from the Fox News Rundown.
Good morning. It's Monday, December 16, 2024. I'm Ted Lindner, and this is the Fox News Rundown. Some of President-elect Trump's cabinet picks have been swarming Capitol Hill to meet with senators ahead of their confirmation hearings.
In the private settings that we have right now, it's a great opportunity to get to know the folks, make them feel comfortable, but then also give them, as they say within the constitutional things, advise and consent.
South Dakota Senator Mike Rounds telling Fox's Sunday Night in America with Trey Gowdy how those private meetings with the candidates go. President-elect Trump taking office in 1 month and 4 days from now. I'm Ted Lindner with the Fox News Rundown.
This is the Fox News Rundown.
This is News Talk STL on 101.9, 94.1, and newstalkstl.com. This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
I'm going to propose something that might frighten you. So there, I'm warning you. This could be more frightening than any chainsaw massacre movie you've ever seen. And in fact, you and your family would be in this. All right, well, here's what I've been thinking. What would be happening and what would happen if Trump had lost the election? Regardless of how he lost, fair or rigged, what would change? That is a frightening thought, right? What our nation would look like after another 4 years of progressive policies, open border, promoting sexual mutilation of our children, it truly would have been the end of our nation. Look around. What you see now would not exist. The people you think you know, you don't. Those who seem to be friendly really are your enemy. But Trump did win. We all win. And even the progressives will benefit by a Trump economy, national stability, closed borders. We will be a world leader again. This last election truly was the most important election in our nation so far.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Chris Arps, and I've been a customer of Royal Banks of Missouri for many years. They are a full-service, locally owned and operated community bank with 17 locations throughout the St. Louis area, including locations in Hannibal, Jerseyville, Granite City, as well as 2 locations in St. Charles. Royal Banks offers Missouri a full range of financial services covering all of your personal and business banking needs, as well as access to over 200 ATM locations. Royal Banks of Missouri also offers convenient interactive teller machines that will connect you with a banker virtually and in real time, available at all their branch locations, and those are open weekdays from 8 to 7 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays. Plus, given today's headlines in the overall banking industry, it is reassuring to know Royal Banks Missouri has the highest financial ratings in St. Louis for stability and strength. That's Royal Banks Missouri, the community bank for your community. Visit them on the web at royalbanksofmo.com.
Let Sievers JCB create a custom purchasing plan for your year-end equipment needs and maximize your tax savings. Whether you need 0% financing for up to 60 months, generous cash incentives up to $9,000, or extended warranties for up to 5 years, Sievers JCB can tailor a plan to fit your fleet needs and budget. Programs are available in a wide range of products, including track loaders, excavators, wheel loaders, and more. Call, stop by, or check them out online at sieversjcb.com.
Tony Colombo here for the cleaning pros at Zero Res, the team we trust with keeping our home clean and healthy. And the folks at Zero Res know how important it is to you to have a clean, healthy home this holiday season. And that's why they have this great offer for you right now. Book a cleaning with Zero Res and mention the Colombo special, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. Plus, you can take $75 off an air duct cleaning. Again, just mention the Colombo special when you call 314-474-2020 or when you book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
The O'Reilly Update, brought to you by Seavers JCB. Visit them at their St. Peter's location.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, are you feeling the impact of the recent changes in the timeshare industry? My friends at Lone Star Transfer are the only company I trust to help you. For more than a decade, they have successfully helped over 20,000 owners get out of their timeshare with an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau. Customer service is their priority. For a free consultation and a guaranteed solution, 855-551-7066 or go to LoneStarTransfer.com. On this Monday, let's call the movie Trumpy 4. Time magazine has named Donald Trump Person of the Year. Predictable, because he is Person of the Year with his dramatic political comeback. And if you look at the complete saga from top to bottom, it is like Rocky. Yo, Adrian. The contender wins the title, 2016. Then he gets knocked out in 2020. Then they try to put him away forever, and he comes back from that with the cases, the criminal cases, and the smearing by the press, and on and on. And then the ultimate Trump before he wins the presidency again. What a flick. Now, I think Donald Trump's political comeback is the strongest political movement in our history ever. And it has to do with a man who simply would not stop. And that is the lesson for every American, whether you like Trump or not. If you are relentless in the pursuit of your goals, you are much more likely to succeed. Most people give up when they get hammered down. Trump almost got killed, defiant to the end, and he emerges the most powerful man in the world once again. Back in a moment. If you own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, listen up. Car Shield is a low-cost monthly vehicle protection plan now available to you. This protection plan is at an all-time low price. Please call 800-925-7584 for a free quote. Drivers who activate today will also receive free roadside assistance and towing at no additional cost. That is 800-925-7584 right now. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm First Alert meteorologist Kristen Cornett with your forecast. Expect rain moving in late tonight. That'll continue through the overnight hours. You might even hear a few rumbles of thunder. Some patchy fog possible, and temperatures actually climbing a few degrees overnight. We'll start Monday around 53 degrees. Cloudy skies early, becoming sunny in the afternoon with a high of 60, a little bit breezy at times, winds gusting to 25 miles per hour. Clear skies Monday night will drop to 35, and for Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high of 53. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Kristen Cornett.
I heard the call to serve, so I answered. I earned a title and discovered my purpose. I found belonging, an unbreakable bond with my fellow Marines. We fought to overcome adversity together in defense of our nation and its people. I've lived a full life, rich with meaning. And even though I no longer wear the uniform, I am still a Marine. My service has come full circle. I will always look after those around me. I will always uplift and support my country and my community, because that is the promise I made. That is what it means to be a Marine. Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL. Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Having your first cup of coffee? Mike's on his third. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
How unified are Republicans in the U.S. House considering such a narrow, tiny, slim, minute majority? I'm trying to think of some more adjectives, but you know what? It's pretty early right now. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to talk to Congressman Mike Bost a little bit later on in the morning. That's going to be around 8:35. So you know what you may want to come back for that one if you're in and out like a lot of people are. Hey, good morning. Mike Ferguson here. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. You know, last week, interesting conversation. Brad Holbrook, state representative in the Illinois legislature, of course, part of the Freedom Caucus as well. We were talking to him about it's not even just the bad state of the economy and politics in Illinois. It's J.B. Pritzker's ambitions for maybe the presidency running over the top of what Illinoisans need. And how can a small minority of Republicans fight back? Well, he's got some ideas, but man, is he realistic. Here's what's happening in the fight for freedom and a decent economy on the east side of the river in our listening area. Here's what Brad had to say.
I have a feeling the governor is going to keep you pretty busy. First and foremost, we're seeing one of the natural results of left-wing leadership, and that is a massive budget deficit in the state. But at the same time, the governor, J.B. Pritzker, is announcing a bunch of goodies he wants to hand out to people for government to take care of people. Where is this money coming from, and how is this going to be something that can be pulled off with a state that's already just absolutely, bleeding out money and people like crazy?
Well, that's a great question, and it's great to be back with you today. So, the governor, since the election, is busy trying to Trump-proof Illinois and trying to push back against the new border czar, Tom Homan, to restore law and order to the state. But to your point about the budget situation, so under Governor Pritzker, his budgets have ballooned over 30%, outpacing inflation by 50%. And it's added over, I think it's $13 billion to the budget. And then his own office just a few weeks ago announced budgets that were going to be nearly $60 billion, a $23 billion deficit over the next 5 years, $3.2 billion in this next fiscal year that the budget is being or will be worked on this spring. So he has lots of things to grapple with. I don't know where the money's going to come from. I was a part of a panel of Appropriations Committee panel the second week of veto session there mid-November, and it was a bipartisan panel, and the Senate Appropriations leadership says that tax increases are not on the table as of now.
Well, that's something.
Yeah, so they're not on the table right now.
Yeah.
So you got to listen to every word they say, because I think they have flipped over every seat cushion and pillow looking for every nickel and dime they can find, and I think they're out of places to go without coming back to the taxpayer and hitting the taxpayer a little bit harder.
Well, and this week, Governor Pritzker, for instance, laying out all these things, he wants to, make housing more affordable through government help. And if I read the story right, wants to somehow have the state involved in helping pay off student debt for some Illinoisans. I mean, what in the world what kind of economic thinking other than somebody who's, wanting to run for president in a few years? Where could this
there's that component of it. And, this never works out. And we understand, right, there's a compassionate side of government and there's a common sense side of government. And anytime that gets out of balance, you see things go a different, an improper direction. And I think that's what we've seen in the United States under Democrat presidents. We see that in the state of Illinois under Democrat governors. They become way too compassionate for what the taxpayers can afford. They don't understand or don't care about common sense. I mean, that's part of the Freedom Caucus mantra is truth, logic, and common sense. And that is just so void in the capital or in the state of Illinois. And that's what we have kind of stated or laid out our mission is to restore those things.
Morning, Brad. Gabe Pfeiffer here. J.B. Pritzker has also been virtue signaling quite a bit on the whole illegal alien thing, as you mentioned, trying to Trump-proof the state against the coming deportations. How far can he actually go under the law to protect illegal aliens within the state?
Well, that's a great question also, and I think we're just seeing a whole lot of saber rattling right now. Again, my money is going to be on border czar Tom Homan here as president comes in January 20th. I think he has the tools. I think Governor Pritzker is kind of just making these statements to kind of maintain his position to get ready, whether it's a presidential run or whether it's, running for governor again, whatever the case might be, he's trying to stake out his territory. I don't know what he can do. I'm personally, in some matters, I don't think the law matters to these guys. I mean, we were under 3 years worth of continuing emergency orders. We believe that the Constitution and statute clearly lays it out that the governor has 30 days of emergency powers. And yet we operated the state over 3 years under the governor's emergency powers. So I think he's just going to do and say what he wants to do and say and see how far it goes. I think it's going to be an interesting spring, without a doubt.
We are visiting with State Representative Brad Holbrook from the Illinois Freedom Caucus. And just to follow up on that, I mean, there's a lot of speculation that he's wanting to get into the 2028 race, because when you're talking about, I want to protect illegal immigrants in the state that are causing such a massive crisis in Chicago and in other areas, this can't be popular with actual Illinois voters and Illinoisans, I wouldn't think. I mean, it looks like he's almost campaigning to the rest of the Democratic base around the country, more so than the actual residents of Illinois.
Well, I think that's right. And we've seen, we've seen the budget pressures, right? It was $1.2 billion tax hike when we can go to the budget and actually see $1 billion worth of spending on illegal aliens. That's just the part that we can see. All the other stuff that's buried in there that we can't really sort out, but we know where it probably is going to end up is the illegal aliens. The people of Illinois that pay the freight to live here to fund this operation is tired of it. The citizens of the city, the sanctuary city, Chicago, are tired of it. We've seen continued outcry by the citizens of Chicago at council meetings, and it continues to be that way. They're all tired of it. Fast forward, I guess, to a couple of days ago, I watched a brief bit of a congressional hearing, and there was an expert there that testified that the sanctuary states or sanctuary cities that harbor these criminals are disastrous to the communities they live in. So, I don't understand. Well, it's just difficult to understand the liberal mindset. I don't think there's any way to figure that out.
Well, and I saw, and I don't remember if it was the Freedom Caucus or it was the Illinois Republican Party that posted the observation. J.B. Pritzker says, we're going to order law enforcement to not cooperate, and basically telling how local and state law enforcement is going to help the illegal immigrants. And somebody pointed out, this is the same law enforcement throughout the state of Illinois that's told J.B. Pritzker to pound sand on other directives that he's had. So it is possible that there could be prosecutors and law enforcement that say, no, we're going to uphold the law, whether or not the governor wants us to or not.
Right. And I think it's an interesting, and I hope this parallel comes together. The governor under the coronavirus lockdowns threatened schools and other things with withholding funding and doing all kinds of legal things if they continue to operate schools or businesses that were deemed, non-essential to stay open. He threatened all kinds of things then. But now when the shoe's on the other foot, he has a different mindset. So where this is all going to go and how this is all going to play out is going to remain to be seen here. But, I'm just not sure where the showdown's coming.
Okay, so you just mentioned it's going to be an interesting spring in the assembly. Obviously, Republicans greatly outnumbered. What are the priorities as far as what Republicans, Freedom Caucus in particular, but Republicans in general, are focusing on, making your priority? Maybe that's what you can get done and do, or maybe it's what you can stop from getting done, because it's just a whole different dynamic in Illinois than it is in some other states.
Yeah, so we'll be rolling out our legislative agenda here right after mid-January. We get sworn in on the second Wednesday, January the 8th. The governor's budget speech will be February the 19th, I believe it is. But I think, the big picture is restoration of common sense to Springfield, to the policy making that goes on. And I think we start by messaging the way things are being done, the way things are supposed to be done, but yet in reality, how it really gets done. And I think that's vital. And I think people are getting stirred up and are engaging more and more. I mean, I see it every day. They're engaging more and more. They're tired of this stuff. And so, I think stuff as simple as increasing the estate tax to match the federal number. I mean, I think Illinois is one of 6 states in the nation that still have any kind of an estate tax. And that's real money to people that have an estate over $4 million. So it continues to drive people out of the state. It's not a lot of people, but it is some people, and it matters to them. So I think highlighting these things, fixing the policy, pointing out the hypocrisy, just the list goes on of places that we can continue to do work. And I think what's vital is the committee work. I think we have to be really well prepared to go into committee hearings, to push back on bad policy, to question the agency directors about their spending. These things are vital to trying to restore some common sense in the state of Illinois.
All right, man, you're doing the hard labor out there, you and your colleagues, Brad. So really appreciate you keeping up the fight here. Freedom Caucus can be found where? Because whether you live in Illinois or not, and of course, a lot of our listening audience is in Illinois, I really hope they are connecting with you on social media, keeping up. You've got the weekly, video streaming show. So there's a lot that you're putting out there, and hopefully they can connect with you. What's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so IllinoisFreedomCaucus.org. You can find us on YouTube, do the same, the Facebook, the X. Those are probably the best sources. We do have a Substack that goes out with weekly highlights that will direct you back. Again, that weekly Tuesday night roundtable that's at 7 o'clock nearly every week, unless we're wrapped up in Springfield or something. And if, we just can't because of scheduling conflict. These are kind of important ways to find what we're talking about. And as always, we just really appreciate when people tune in and share and like that content. Help us to kind of further the message.
All right, we got a lot of ground to cover here. Let's talk about it. 314-912-1019. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Whether at home or at work, you're mobile. So when you're mobile, stay mobile. Keep St. Louis's home for conservative talk with you wherever you go. Download the News Talk STL app in the App Store or at newstalkstl.com.
Craving delicious homemade pizza made with the freshest ingredients? Head to Woodson Stonefire in the heart of St. Charles. This family-owned restaurant offers a wide variety of pizzas and comfort foods, all crafted with passion and love. Woodson Stonefire is the only place to go for the best pizza and wings in town. Why settle for a chain pizza when you can enjoy local, homemade goodness? Woodson Stonefire, 3120 West Clay in St. Charles. For carry-out, call 636-493-0532.
Hey, firearms enthusiast, looking for a family and veteran-owned shop with a wide selection of products and services? Head to DG Firearms, 115 Business Highway 61 North in Bowling Green. DG Firearms has been your one-stop shop for custom ARs, Cerakoting, laser engraving, gunsmithing, suppressors, ammo, and reloading supplies. DG Firearms, 115 Business Highway 61 North in Bowling Green, and online at dgfirearmsllc.com.
Sometimes it's hard to tell what is a good time to sell my home or buy another one. You need expert help? I've got them for you. Jen and Rodney Wallner, a wife and husband team, the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway. They have so many approved home buyers, they can guarantee you an offer on your home. In fact, they sell 15 times more homes per year than the typical realtor. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois. And here's a phone number for you. Call them, discuss it with them. 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD. Those last 4 letters, sold, that's what will be in front of your home if you're looking to sell it. Jen and Rodney Wallner, the Wallner Home Selling Team, Berkshire Hathaway, 314-810-SOLD. Jen and Rodney Wallner.
News, analysis, opinion.
You know, they're literally taking the Constitution and putting it in a paper shredder.
News Talk STL.
Hi, Stan Bongino here, and I'm proud to be on News Talk STL every weekday from 11 to 2. Right now, you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, this is the question that's on everybody's mind.
Okay.
Because we do the hard-hitting topics on this program.
Right off the top of the show.
What do you do if the drones show up here? What are you going to do about the drones?
I think I would probably be kind of stunned. I'd probably just stand there gazing at them, trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, there are enough people who are saying, I know what I'd do. Shoot them down.
Yep. Folks in the South especially.
Oh, yeah. Did you see
hilarious.
Did you see the Babylon Bee?
No, I did not.
It said it was something about drone sightings stop once they got over Texas. All right. Somebody actually did a story on it locally here. It's like, well, can you shoot them down? I'll get into that here in just a minute. 5:52 right now. Don't forget, if you have not subscribed to our podcast, what you doing? Come on, subscribe to those. News Talk STL, or you can subscribe to the Mike Ferguson in the morning slate of those podcasts. You get every hour of the program. Listen to it anytime you want. And, of course, we pull out the interviews and particular highlights throughout each show so that you can get either a best of or you can send those discussions. Like, for instance, we're going to talk in a little bit to Congressman Mike Bost. That's something that probably a lot of your friends and colleagues are going to want to hear. So be sure to subscribe to that right now. You can do it right now. All right. Let's see here. Quick question here. I figure, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the Christmas season. Christmas Eve is 1 week from tomorrow.
Oh boy.
Can you believe that?
No, I can't.
Wow. So here's my first question of the Christmas season. I'm just calling it because I'm very creative. Mike's question of the Christmas season, part 1.
Okay.
So should I start looking around and thinking about buying presents for people at this point?
No, I don't know. I don't know. Us guys, we kind of wait a little bit.
Yeah.
We wait for those choice moments where we can make those brilliant decisions on a wonderful gift.
Yeah, Rachel and I were talking about because her travel schedule's been so insane. We're just kind of behind on it, and I'm to the point where I am projecting because I don't really need anything or I don't really care about getting anything. So that's translated somehow in my feeble brain as to I don't need to go buy stuff. So now I'm like, oh crap, we're a week away. I better start buying stuff. Which means I'm going to be the guy at Marshall's on the 23rd or 24th, seeing what's left.
Or do a gift card.
Yeah, I do a lot of those.
Okay.
Yeah. And some people say, that's the way to be, just to say you're in control and I just want you to get what you want. For me, it means I was just procrastinated too much to actually do the work to get you a present. So.
And besides, I didn't know what to get you.
Yeah, that too. Oh my goodness.
That's fine.
All right. It's kind of funny here. Channel 2 actually has a story on their website. Fox 2. They did a story. Is it legal to shoot down a drone in Missouri or Illinois? and you may, don't laugh at Channel 2 on this one. I give all the media a hard time on this, but that they were getting the questions and they're watching the internet and that they're seeing a lot of people like, you know what I'll do if they show up over my house? I'm going to shoot them down. Because people are saying that. So in case I would encourage you to go ahead and check out the story. But here is from their assessment of the laws and the experts they talked to. Because there are a lot of drones. It's not even just the big Volvo-sized ones that are out in Maryland and New Jersey.
And they are spreading to other states.
Yeah, they're seeing them in other places now.
Pennsylvania, New York.
These things are big. When they said drones are spotted, I'm like, I see drones flying around sometimes. Drones are everywhere now. But I didn't realize how big these things are.
I can't fathom an SUV sized
goodness. Okay.
drone.
So here's the thing. Drones are actually apparently federally regulated. This is like an FAA thing, Federal Aviation Administration thing. And drones are considered aircraft, which means they're covered under the laws of aircraft, which means you can't shoot at them. Now, Missouri and Illinois both have state laws, and then there are local laws as well about recklessly shooting your guns, which even the most hardcore Second Amendment pro-gun guy like myself, yeah, you're responsible if you fire a gun, and you don't know where the bullet's going. So suffice it to say, it is illegal to shoot at drones with firearms. Now, if you think you can hit them with something like a, I don't know, beanbag gun or a net or whatever, and I say go fishing, give it a shot, proverbially and literally. But as far as like firing your firearms, you're not supposed to do that.
And from the other end, from the FAA, and for instance, you can't fly them under the arch.
Right.
You can't fly them in certain areas.
Correct.
And so, yeah, there are rules, but firearms, yeah, that's kind of iffy.
Because that if these things, here's what's so weird about this thing with these drones. I mean, I took a day off on Friday, and the drones thing was kind of bubbling up. I mean, it was already in the news, but we were kind of laughing at it. And now it's getting bigger and bigger, and they're spreading, and still nobody seems to know where these things are coming from. People are going to start freaking out over them. I mean, they really are. I mean, not necessarily going to be a War of the Worlds type situation, but we don't need to go back to that. But
which, by the way, took place in New Jersey for folks who.
Oh, that was set in New Jersey.
I believe so.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
We'll have to ask Gabe about that.
Bottom line, don't shoot at the drones with your rifle.
No,
don't do it. Bad idea. If you hit it, good shot. But if you don't, you're probably in a lot of trouble. Just saying, don't do that.
Larry Connors here, and I'm heading to southern Italy for a tour of the most beautiful coastline in the world, the Amalfi Coast. I want you to join me. We'll travel for 11 magical days with professionals from Conservative Tours. They're the best tour operators in Italy. Conservative Tours, an A+ rating with the BBB. $54.88 is your cost. That includes airfare from St. Louis, luxury hotels, dining events you'll remember for years. Call 888-733-9494 or go to conservativestours.com. Join me next spring in Italy on the Isle of Capri, just $54.88, including airfare from St. Louis. 888-733-9494 or go to conservativetours.com.
Parents want more choices rather than fewer when it comes to their children's education. And now some Missouri parents will have one more option to get their children the best education available. Low-income students and those with disabilities in Missouri's largest communities can now apply for an Empowerment Scholarship Account, or ESA. With an ESA, the money the state would normally pay to your child's public school goes into an account that you control. You can use the funds for private school tuition, online learning programs, a private tutor, or other approved uses. You can tailor your child's education. For too long, Missouri officials have operated on the mistaken notion that parents only need one choice. They're assigned public school based on their address. ESAs put parents in charge. It's school choice at its best, with money following the students to the place that best fits their needs. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. This Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Julie Walker reports storms across the country brought everything from heavy snow and dangerous ice and even a tornado in California.
A rare Central California tornado touched down Saturday in Scotts Valley, tossing cars, uprooting trees, and sending several people to the hospital. The National Weather Service says it's the first since records have been kept. Meteorologist Dalton Behringer.
EF1 tornado
that produced winds up to 90 miles per hour.
Elsewhere, more than a foot of snow fell at some Lake Tahoe ski resorts. A 112-mile-per-hour gust was recorded at Mammoth Mountain. A major ice storm hit parts of the Midwest, and in some parts of western New York, residents were cleaning up from up to 3.5 feet of snow. I'm Julie Walker.
FBI Director Christopher Wray says he'll resign at the end of the current administration. His January 20th departure will cut short his 10-year term by 3 years. Correspondent Jackie Quinn reports on holiday trends at small shops this year.
Owners of small retail shops say the top-selling gifts appear to be cozy items this year, like sweaters and fuzzy alpaca wool scarves. The National Retail Federation predicts holiday shopping this year will be up between 2.5% and 3.5% over last year. I'm Jackie Quinn.
The new year will usher in the Bitcoin-friendly administration of President-elect Donald Trump and an expanded lobbying effort in some state houses, factors that could push states to become more crypto-friendly and more public pension funds and treasuries perhaps to buy cryptocurrencies as part of their portfolios. On Wall Street, Dow futures up 46 points at this hour. The S&P looks like it will have a strong start. Futures there up 9 points. NASDAQ composite futures up 65. More on these stories at townhall.com.
So just grin and bear it or bite the bullet when it comes to everyday pain? Don't. Try Relief Factor, a drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free. It's developed by doctors. In 3 weeks or less, you'll know whether it works for you like it works for me. Try Relief Factor for yourself. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
This Christmas, gather your loved ones as we at TBN celebrate the birth of Jesus. Enjoy powerful performances by For King and Country, Matthew West, Danny Goki, and Natalie Grant. Along with inspiring messages from Joel Osteen, Rick Warren, Max Lucado, and others.
Merry Christmas to you guys.
Tune in or stream meaningful programming anytime on the TBN Plus app. Visit tbn.org to learn more and make TBN.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's a wet early morning commute, but that rain is going to be moving on, and we clear out very quickly by later this morning. The sun comes out this afternoon. The high temperature 62 degrees, but it is definitely wet this morning. Overnight lows tonight in the 40s and a high tomorrow in the mid-50s. We're looking at sunny skies on Tuesday. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hello, this is Jay with Titan Hill Armory in Washington, Missouri. We are a small family-owned business specializing in firearms and accessories. We buy, sell, and trade and have over 2,000 firearms in our store. We're open Wednesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Check us out at 1807 East 5th Street or online at TitanHillArmory.com.
Titan Hill Armory, your source for firearms, ammunition, accessories in Washington, Missouri.
Again, that's TitanHillArmory.com.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry-out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL. Enable our Alexa skill.
Hello.
Hey, Alexa.
Yes, I'm listening.
Play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
Mike Ferguson.
Just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I love Jesus. He was my superhero.
Can't you hear the alarm?
Twitter is like being able to read every toilet wall in the world.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin God.
Good morning to the people of St. Louis.
By the way, before you start, Mike, I already got fact-checked.
Uh-oh. On
yeah,
what?
I made the comment about War of the Worlds. And I was kind of kidding, but sort of serious that it was in New Jersey. So, Kathy, this is what happens when you're married to a teacher who taught for 35 years.
Read
Where'd
that
you get
book
the
in-
idea that it happened in New Jersey? It was in England. War of the Worlds, H.G. Wells. Get your facts straight, pal.
Man.
Sorry.
Well, maybe you were thinking of the Tom Cruise version of the movie.
There it is.
That might have been it.
That might have been in Jersey.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So
yeah, this whole drones thing is just bizarre.
It's a very strange story.
And at some point when it is, I don't know why I saw the resemblances to like some of the War of the World stuff, which I don't know.
Well, maybe kind of the hoaxist nature of it is
Yeah.
like you're trying to gin up public frenzy, or maybe even not necessarily trying to, but that's the result of whatever you're doing. I mean, because Tony Colombo was talking about this possibly being like some viral marketing thing or something.
Oh, very well could be.
It's
It very
weird.
well could be. Yeah. All right. So 6:06 right now. So this is the part where I do the teases for the stories that are in the news dump, which we're about to do.
Yeah, say the things.
So let me do those teasers.
Tease away.
Number one. Drones. Okay. Number two here. George makes an expensive misstep on TV. It's costing a news network a lot of money.
See, you can't trust those Greeks. I'm telling you.
Wow, man, I tell you. And the Blues have another good night and Enterprise. Let's dump some news on you here.
The morning news dump. Are you joking? Is this a joke? Listen, folks. The morning news dump.
All right, an arrest is made, but police say the investigation is not over. As we headed into the weekend, so basically early in the weekend, Friday, sometime in the PM, Garrett A. Jordan III was arrested in connection with the shooting death of CBC student Colin Brown. Jordan has a long, and I mean a long, criminal history. He was on probation already for a felon in possession of a firearm case, and he had been released from a federal prison about 6 weeks before the shooting that killed Brown on I-55. Police are describing the death as a stray bullet hitting him, and it looks like it was a drug deal gone violent.
Oh, boy.
And this guy was released from prison, and he was already on probation on something else as well. So there's a lot more to this. The more that the media dug into his criminal background, now the question comes down to, why was this guy not in prison?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
With based on what you're just talking about here with the long laundry list of crimes this guy probably was involved in. Yeah, why isn't he in prison?
Yeah. So he's going back now. So he's going to be in for a long time because he broke his probation, assuming that they convict him or they get some kind of plea out of it. All right. U.S. House Republicans obviously hoping to reinstall Donald Trump's policies from his first term in his upcoming second term. Congresswoman Nicole Maliotakis from New York, a Republican, was on Sunday Night in America with Trey Gowdy on Friday. And she said the new Republican-controlled Congress should start with extending the Trump tax cuts right away.
We are feeling very good about our chances to get it extended. It needs to be extended.
Yeah, here's the thing, this is the one thing that you all, and I'm talking to the Republicans out there, you better pull off and get it done, and get it done quickly. None of this negotiating in something else. Don't let the Democrats decide to water this down. You've got the first 100 days. You roll over the top of them. And just keep saying the word mandate. The media will go crazy, but you need to extend these.
Yes, failure is not an option in this case. You can't let the clock run out on this. You can't say, "Oops, we gave it our best try."
Right.
This is the type of thing that will end careers if it goes badly.
And you know what? And the deep state is already, the swamp, so to speak, is already pushing back. Here's the rest of the news copy that I have here. The non-partisan Congressional Budget Office says extending President-elect Trump's 2017 tax cut would add nearly $5 trillion to the federal budget deficit.
Oh, shut up.
I know, exactly.
That's not true. Because we already saw what it did to the economy. We already saw what happened. You can't say, well, I mean, in spite of the fact that it gave us record revenues for taxes and actually we had a positive pressure, I guess, on the budget. You can't say, well, in the future it'll be completely the opposite.
But wait a minute, why was there a budget deficit then? Why was there increase in national debt?
It's called spending.
Yeah,
that's
too
what
much
happened.
of it. Way too much of it.
Like actual spending.
Yeah,
not tax cuts, because they call those spending too. By the way, but I remember.
Yeah,
stupid politicians.
Yeah,
I hate those guys sometimes.
Oh, geez. All right, government officials responding to questions about the mysterious drone sightings.
There have been numerous reports of drones flying at night in New Jersey and other parts of the Mid-Atlantic region. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby said there's no evidence the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat or have a foreign nexus. That echoes statements from the Pentagon and New Jersey's governor. But several lawmakers want more answers, and Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut says the drones should be shot down if necessary. Greg Clugston, Washington.
All right, don't worry about it, though. You know why, guys?
Why?
Because the Department of Homeland Security says we're on it.
Oh, yeah.
So
The same
easy.
The same Department of Homeland Security that's done such a bang-up job with every other thing that we've given
like
them.
the border and everything.
Yeah,
else.
like
The border.
everything
Oh,
else,
yeah. Those are solid people.
Oh, and also there is no evidence that sentence coming out of a government agency means nothing to me now. Nothing.
Oh, my goodness.
You know what the other odd thing is? Do the drones shut down at 11 p.m. or something?
I don't know.
What's the deal with that?
I don't know. It's
Well,
so
they do
weird.
have a bedtime.
That is so bizarre.
So Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas was on this week on ABC saying, you know what? They need Congress to give them additional authorities regarding the drone situation.
We want state and local authorities to also have the ability to counter drone activity under federal supervision.
Did he just say, let him shoot him down?
Well, he might have said, our police have helicopters too.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. That might be part of it. Now, one of the things that I'm interested in is the fact that because the federal government has exerted its authority here, that suggests that these things are operating in pretty high altitudes, because that's where the FAA has jurisdiction. At lower altitudes, it's kind of a gray area. Whether or not there's local jurisdiction, or if it's still within an FAA, or if it's completely unregulated. That's why you can get like Amazon deliveries on drones, because they fly at low enough altitudes that they're not actually covered by the FAA regulation. So there's a lot of suggestions by the fact that the FAA is exerting their control. I guess these things are operating at really high altitudes, which says
they're
something
huge.
else. Yes, that says something else
They're
about what these
big,
things are doing.
And there's lots of them.
Yeah. And I have another question. I guess I'm full of questions this morning.
Sure.
What is the deal, since they're in the Jersey, New York area, with them flying there? You've got an entire nation to do your thing. You've got expanses that are wide open, and you pick the corridor that's got the most aeronautical action, probably, Gabe, between Boston, New York City, and Washington.
Their airspace is pretty full pretty much all the
Yeah,
time.
well, why are
because of
you
their
doing
airports.
it there?
Yeah,
Did
it's
you
a
think
good
we weren't
question.
going to notice? Or is the point to be noticed?
Yeah, well, I mean, and the other reason to fly at night is if you're looking for something that isn't necessarily visible during the day. Because the thing is, drone surveillance packages tend to just be, cameras. Unless they're looking for things that I don't know, are slightly radioactive, or if they have thermal packages and things like that. There's something else going on here.
Oh man. All right, we're going to talk about this a lot more here. 314-912-1019. ABC News is out $16 million after a settlement with Donald Trump. The defamation lawsuit and settlement are from George Stephanopoulos' on-air statement saying that Trump had been found civilly liable for rape in the E. Jean Carroll case. Trump was not found civilly liable for rape. He was found civilly liable for sexual assault, but not rape. Those have different definitions under New York law. ABC News is going to pay $15 million to an account for the future Trump presidential library, and another $1 million to cover Trump's legal fees.
If they really wanted to stick it to Trump, they would have fought this battle, because we're talking about one set of deep pocket lawyers versus another set of deep pocket lawyers, and what is there to be gained or lost in those things. And if you are a news organization like that, you would love to be able to stick it to Trump and say, oh, and he failed in his thing. So the fact that they settled suggests maybe they didn't want some things in discovery to come out.
Yeah. And you know what? There's another one waiting in the wings with CNN.
Oh, is
a very similar lawsuit?
Oh, really?
Yes.
They said something similar to that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there we go.
Boy, oh boy. Fun times.
Yeah, I mean, now, of course, the settlement amount is kind of drop in a bucket for these
for
guys.
them,
yeah, for both parties. So it's very much more of a symbolic win, I think.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. I do think it's funny that the settlement is that the money goes to the future Trump presidential library.
Yeah.
So ABC News paid some seed money. Now, a presidential library runs, $800 or $900 million to build. So it's not like this is a huge amount of it.
Right.
But it's going into an escrow account from ABC News. into what will eventually be the Trump Presidential Library.
That's funny.
Probably in Florida, I would guess.
Yeah.
Can it be considered a charitable donation?
Yes, it actually
it can.
It actually is considered a charitable donation.
That's one of the reasons why they did it.
They're actually going to be able to write this off on their taxes. So it really doesn't cost anything.
Oh man.
Oh man. All right. The
shenanigans.
The Blues. Yeah. The Blues hold off the Rangers for a 3-2 win Sunday night at Enterprise. The Blues were up 3-0 at the end of the second period.
Oof.
Rangers tried to come back here. They scored twice in the third, but they were stopped there. Joel Hofer, 26 saves on the game. No game today. Devils are in town on Tuesday. So mixed weekend for the last couple of days. But Blues are still a little bit above 500, so they're settling in. Looks like we're going to have a fun team to watch, I think.
LGB.
Yep.
Making cold mind to fight your war. Stop it right now.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL.
Stop it right now.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Get up. Can't you hear the alarm? Get up. This is your cousin.
Whether you're a saltwater fish fanatic, reptile enthusiast, or looking for small animal supplies, Lynn's Pets has an all. From feeder insects to exotic birds, we got you covered. The Kevin of RC are passionate experts who don't just sell pets, they educate and care. One same-day delivery and personalized service, we live for it. Big chain stores, forget about it. At Lynn's Pets, we save you money and provide top-notch service. Lynn's Pets in the heart of Lynn'sville. Call 636-327-7700 or find us on Facebook.
Are you tired of hard chlorinated water drying your skin out, tasting bad, and ruining your fixtures? Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to this pollution. Our Hydratech H2O leaves you with great tasting, soft water at all fixtures in your home with one unit. Call Jones Air and Water at 636-899-1040 or visit us on the web at joneswater.com. You can be a filter or buy a filter. Jones Air and Water, 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
Looking for a top-quality tactical gear and expert advice? Look no further than Discount Tactical, your one-stop shop for all things firearms and self-defense. Located in the heart of Warrenton, we've been serving the community for 3 years with our friendly, professional, and knowledgeable staff. From custom AR builds and silencers to the largest selection of parts, we've got you covered. Self-defense weapons, SBRs, knives, ammo, custom holsters, weapon lights, optics, and body armor. Discount Tactical. Online at discounttacticalarmory.com or stop by today and gear up with confidence.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey there, Tim Jones here. Make sure you join me and my buddy Chris Arps this afternoon from 4 until 6 p.m. right here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL. Right now, let's get back to more of Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Gabe's over here suffering, man.
Yeah. Suffering for love. Okay, so everybody knows I've been renovating the basement. I've been finishing the basement, I should say, forever.
Seemingly forever.
Seemingly forever. It absolutely feels that way. But my Christmas present to my wife is to finish this stupid basement project so that she can sit down on the couch in front of a fire and drink cocoa in the finished basement. Like that's kind of the whole thing for Christmas.
Okay.
So I'm working feverishly towards that goal, and I'm hurting myself in the process.
Because you're doing a whole different repetitive motion over your head that your body's not used to.
Exactly. I'm painting stuff.
I mean, it's not like I'm
doing.
You're in shape. It's not like you're, like you're a couch potato. You're not. You work out. The whole thing is just a whole different thing.
It's a whole. Every single move, every time I would go on to a different stage of the project, it's a whole different set of repetitive movements for around the entire room.
Listen, tough guys get paintbrush injuries too.
You're not wrong. That's why they have those repetitive motion things. You have to go to therapy and stuff like that.
All right. What the heck are these drones, man? Let's talk about that here in a minute.
Yes.
By the way, okay, still ahead. This is going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to this. Should businesses, I'm talking about employers here, should they take on the role of teaching employees about, hey, here's how the economy works. Here's how politics affects you. Here's how policy affects us.
Interesting.
Here's what's good. Here's what's bad. Should they take a little more of a proactive role to say, hey, this is what this would do to my business.
Right.
This is what it could affect you.
Ooh.
We're going to hear the case for that at 6:35.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
6:35.
there's a case to be made, I imagine.
Yep. You're going to hear it. So, all right. All right. Don't worry. Homeland Security's on the case, like we just said. They're all over this drones thing.
Yes. I'm
Okay.
sure.
So 314-912-1019, or social media, whatever you want. What's your best drone conspiracy theory?
Yeah, I want to hear them.
All right.
Come on, guys.
And the thing is that somebody's going to send us like a bunch of wild stuff, and somebody is going to be right.
Yes.
That's the thing.
That's the tendency right now. Is like somebody's weird, wild conspiracy theory is going to be right.
Yeah.
And there's almost no telling which one.
Okay, so we've already got Downtown Inferno on Rumble says, I heard something about the drones are looking for a dirty bomb, and they are ours. I think that means they're like government drones. The government doesn't want us to know. They're doing a very bad job of hiding themselves, which or they know that we're going to see them.
Well,
and then they want to keep it quiet.
When you put bright lights on them, it's kind of inevitable that you're
going
to be
when
seen.
you put the bright lights on them, I mean, that's an FAA requirement, isn't it? If you're flying at a certain level, you have to have those lights.
Yeah, that's true. And that's for visibility from other aircraft,
right,
so they can identify. But of course, at those altitudes, they should be within a flight pattern that's governed by the FAA. Like somebody should be on the radio with the FAA talking about their flight location. They probably actually should have filed a flight plan with the FAA to begin with,
because they're that big.
Yeah.
Because some of these are, I mean, and now there's like, for instance, somewhere, I think it was Oregon, and I've got the audio of it. There was like some pilots of other aircraft going, there's something buzzing all over going to these bizarre. So we got UFOs now.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Now, if a private plane ran into one of these things, it's over. Like that's a deadly crash, which is why it's so important to kind of that they would be in the flight pattern, which suggests that the government actually knows about them. Maybe.
So I've been fact checked again.
Oh no.
Yeah. Chris Arps just sent me a note and said, hey, you were right. And then he gives this explanation. The first few bulletins of War of the Worlds interrupt a program of live music and the relatively calm reports of unusual explosions on Mars, followed by a seemingly unrelated report of an unknown object falling on a farm in Grover's Mill, New Jersey.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, the crisis escalates dramatically when an on-scene reporter at Grover's Mill describes creatures emerging from what is evidently an alien spacecraft.
So Stell is going to walk with a lot of swagger back into his house later today.
Wait a minute.
Hey, baby.
Hey, Kathy. Okay, so the drone sightings obviously got a lot of people, some people getting like freaked out. Other people are kind of enjoying the all right, what's your best take on this? But there's more questions than answers, which means at some point, if there are this many of something this size and we still have no idea what they are, that means that somebody's hiding it, or somebody's doing it for some kind of marketing. I don't know. This could be government. This could be commercial. I don't know. Congressman Mike Waltz out of Florida has been picked by Donald Trump to be the new national security advisor. He was asked about this on Face the Nation on CBS.
I think what the drone issue points out are kind of gaps in our agencies, gaps in our authorities between the Department of Homeland Security, local law enforcement, the Defense Department. I think Americans are finding it hard to believe. We can't figure out where these are coming from.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Now, so we don't know where they're coming from, or somebody out there saying, "Oh yeah, they know."
Right.
They just don't want to tell us. All right. So what's your best theory, guys? Let's come up with something.
Oof.
It does not need to make sense, by the way. It can be outrageous. I don't care.
Well, one of the most interesting ones to me would be if this was some sort of viral marketing, like some guys got together and they rented out like a dozen, 2 dozen car-sized drones to just fly around, freak everybody out for a month or two, and then they're going to come out with like a movie or something like that. So, I don't know. That would be the weirdest resolution to this story to me. So I'm interested in that happening.
Okay, what do you think, Stel?
I have no clue. I'll go with Gabe's explanation. I honestly have no clue. I've been watching this thing for the last week or so and wondering what in the world is going on. You got the story about the Iranian ship that's out in international waters. No, I don't believe that, but
No,
I
I
guess
don't
that's
either.
a possibility. Who
Yeah.
knows? I have no clue.
All right. I mean, because we would be able to track those.
Yeah.
To that kind of
Oh yeah, you could
source.
You could see a ship in the international waters, pretty
and
easily.
that they're coming.
And
to
if they're and
But
once you start monitoring,
here's what I'm having trouble believing
Mhm.
is that we see the drones there, they're reported, and then they're this size and they go away, and there's like, well, I don't know where they went.
right.
Maybe you don't know where they went.
Hasn't anybody followed them? Like just with a camera, with some sort of tracking device? It's like has no one followed them home? Because they have to go someplace.
Yeah.
They do not have indefinite battery life. They have to land at some point. So hasn't anybody ever said, okay, that looks like a drone, I'm going to continue monitoring it until it lands someplace?
I do have a possibility.
Okay.
Santa Claus working on some sort of alternative plan to help him deliver those 4.3 trillion.
That's true.
Gifts on Christmas Eve, and this may be his situation of trying to figure something out. Maybe I can do it this way.
He gave in to the animal rights activist who thought that he was abusing the reindeer.
Right, exactly.
And so now we have to go with the drones approach to deliver stuff.
Yep,
That makes
embracing
sense.
technology. Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
I mean,
I think it's viable.
I think that's as good as anything we're hearing from the government,
which is to say nothing. We're hearing nothing, like nothing concrete.
Well,
like they're saying, yeah, we're looking into it. That's basically what they're saying.
But don't worry, we know it's not dangerous.
It's
But
it's
we
like
don't know what it is, but we know it's not dangerous. Really?
Wait, how do you know that? It's like it's like asking somebody at some company. It's like, hey, you got anything in the back? Sure, I'll go check. They never have anything in the back. They just went to the coffee break room and sat for a second. And it's like they came back. It's like, you know what? There's nothing there. Sorry, buddy. We're all out.
Yeah.
What if this were happening off the coastline of some other country like France or England? Or
France would have surrendered already.
Probably.
They would have sent out a cross-dresser in blue paint to, dance around and say, it's yours. Sorry, I went off track there.
Maybe mimes.
Send
in the mimes.
Yeah, I wonder how other nations would be reacting if
That's
they
a
would
good
have
question.
the same
well
stuff that we've been doing.
Other Western nations probably would have been, similarly clueless because the West is currently on a downturn. But I would think that a little bit more of the other belligerent nations of the world might simply just start shooting.
Yeah,
like China, maybe.
China.
I wonder what China would.
China would have shot. Actually, China would have captured them. They would have used nets to capture them
Mm.
so that they can copy their technology.
See, but this is also one of the problems. I mean, if you've got, because like some of these drones have been over neighborhoods, they've been over business districts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's
Golf
say
courses.
Let's say you take one down, it's going to land on something.
Yeah, and
you got to be careful.
It's a big bad boy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, geez. So I'm watching this, and at first I thought, well, that's kind of funny because there's always stories.
Oh,
about something
always
in the air. But then it's like, wait a minute, how many of these are out there?
You should be able to track these things in a helicopter and either wait, follow them until they have to go home someplace or capture it. You should be able to capture these things pretty easily. I mean, if you drop any sort of entanglement device, basically a knot of rope can take one of these things down, because once one of the blades is done, then it's straight to the ground. So why haven't we done this yet?
Yeah.
It seems kind of simple to me.
And for people who are talking about how, surprised at how big that is possible to have drones this size. Remember, there are entire airplanes that are drones. I mean,
yes.
Drone just means remote controlled something.
Yes.
I mean, so I'm thinking about every jet out there or helicopter in theory could become a drone.
Oh, absolutely. Well, there are F-16s that have been given flight packages to act as drones as during the Top Gun exercises. Basically, they're the bad guy airplanes that are being flown around autonomously, and then our fighter pilots are chasing them down. So you can have an full-on F-16 that is a drone because it's remote controlled.
Oh man! All right, if you think of some great conspiracy theories, I don't care how wild they are. Let's hear it. So 314-912-1019. Also, all right, just ahead here. We talked about businesses going woke.
Mm-hmm.
They start pushing left-wing nonsense.
Yeah.
Should they start pushing free market stuff? As in going to your employees and saying, listen, policy makes difference on how much I can pay you and how many of you I can hire or keep on board.
Right.
Should they start saying, this is what it actually means? Should employers take a lead in educating people about politics and policies and things like that?
Man. So if this minimum wage goes through, we're getting rid of Ted.
That's right. Something like that. Seriously. Guys, looks like this passed, or it's about to pass. We're going to take a vote. Somebody's going off the island.
Somebody's going off the island. There you go.
All right. That conversation is coming away in about 4 minutes here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
He said, she said, no, she don't. Be back before morning. And you know she won't.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Thank you for the opportunity to let me vent here.
Live and local.
Way to be, guys. 101.9 all the way.
This is News Talk STL.
I am home.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's a wet early morning commute, but that rain is going to be moving on, and we clear out very quickly by later this morning. The sun comes out this afternoon. The high temperature 62 degrees, but it is definitely wet this morning. Overnight lows tonight in the 40s and a high tomorrow in the mid 50s. We're looking at sunny skies on Tuesday. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli, and my favorite sandwich from Capriati's is the Wagyu beef French dip. So good. It's the au jus that makes it. And the Wagyu beef is pretty good, too. I love Capriati's, and you will, too.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
Hey, how you doing? Santa Vic here.
And Santa's head Vic head here.
And you can win some great prizes with News Talk STL's St. Louis Conservative Christmas.
You forgot the ho-ho-ho. You forgot the ho-ho-ho.
Oh!
No, ho-ho.
Oh!
A St. Louis Conservative Christmas. Log on to newstalkstl.com for your chance to win. Brought to you by Woodson Stonefire, Tropical World Pets, El Morelia Supermercado, and Metro Shooting Supplies.
Oh!
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do
Let's play something, Grandma.
became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
What new chaos and crises did Joe Biden start over the weekend? We'll discuss at 425 with former U.S. Senator Jim Talent. Red State Headlines at 525 with Susie Moore.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Yes, I listen on my phone.
Download the News Talk STL app.
News Talk STL.
Streaming live on the mobile app.
It is awesome.
And listen anytime.
Love the News Talk STL app.
Anywhere.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning here on News Talk STL.
You make me weak and wanna die.
We're hearing a lot in the news about businesses both getting into DEI and maybe cultural and political activism, and increasingly some of them backing off when the market has said, no way, knock it off. That's not your role. So if they're going to get rid of the woke mindset in the workplace, what are they going to go to? Is it enough to just get rid of it and replace it with nothing, or should they be proactive in some way? Interesting question here. I'm Mike Ferguson. I am now joined by Linda J. Hansen from Prosperity 101, and we'll tell you what that is here in just a couple of minutes. Linda, thanks for being on the program here. First, give me just kind of your quick overview of why we see so many of these big companies, which kind of quietly got into that sort of left-wing cultural and indoctrination space with the DEI and the social activism, whether, you know, it was abortion or LGBT or whatever the case is, the gender stuff, whatever it is. Why do you think that so many of these companies that used to feel very safe in that space are now pulling back and saying, okay, that's not going to be part of our business model. We're not going to do that in the workplace anymore?
Well, just like everything in business and politics, you know, follow the money. You know, when Bud Light first came out with their ads that were so offensive to so many people, you know, the phrase "go woke, go broke" became very popular. And we can see so many companies now that have been exposed for what they have been promoting in the workplace. And I would think a lot of the customers would be aghast if they knew. Robbie Starbuck and his wife Landon have really been working to expose a lot of these companies and to let people know, like Tractor Supply, John Deere, Harley Davidson, like, really, do they even know their customers? So once the customers find out, wait, this is what my money's going for, and they think, no, I'm sorry, I don't want, you know, a drag queen in my 3-year-old's preschool. You know, I don't want our money going, you know, to these types of things. And so, you know, go woke, go broke. But I think that it's also part of a shift. You know, we've saw a big shift in the election results. Obviously, the company or the country gave a mandate for what they want and don't want moving forward in our nation. And hopefully these companies are responding. But you know, this could be a flash in the pan unless we dig in and actually educate people about how our system of government truly works, how we need to have strong businesses driving our economy, and what we need to do to protect that freedom through our constitutional freedoms and through sound fiscal policy in our government. So we could have this shift now, but, you know, people are fickle and they'll follow the dollar and they'll follow their own agendas. But we need to really make our voice be heard now. And this is part of why these companies are shifting, because people boycotted. They posted their dislike for these things. And but as you were saying before, we need to replace it with something. You know, every yes is a no to something, and every no is a yes to something, right? So if they're saying no to all these woke things, what are we replacing it with? And that's what I want to do with Prosperity 101. It's something I've been doing for years, and I love working with companies to help them increase this type of communication in their workplace, supporting our American values.
Yeah, that's where I want to go with this, because you know, for some people, the victory is just stop pushing this particular narrative or this worldview or requiring your employees to use these terms and that sort of thing. And so for a lot of people, the victory is just go back to doing a business, turning a profit, running your operations. But what I'm hearing you say is, no, what we should be doing is moving from the woke, for, you know, for lack of a better term. So from woke to what? Well, then where should these businesses be going if you want them to sort of empower the workers and drive the economy? Is there something that should be in that space if they get rid of the left-wing stuff?
Absolutely. And, you know, I look at this kind of like if you go on a diet, you know, sometimes people go on diets, there's fad diets and things, and they cut out certain foods. But if they don't replace that with a healthy lifestyle and healthy nutrition moving forward, they'll just gain all that weight back, right? Well, that's what's going to happen in America if we don't truly dig in and re-educate these people. We have people in the workforce who really have no clue what policies affect their paycheck. They have no clue that government doesn't have all the money until we provide it to them first. They have no clue even how to protect that. So I would love to work with companies and allow them to license my material. I have an online course. It's simple. We walk people through foundations of prosperity, policies of prosperity, and how to protect their prosperity by becoming informed, involved, and impactful. However, we teach them that prosperity isn't just money. It is human flourishing and freedom. This is about protecting our freedom. So in the workplace, it's important for employers to talk about these things and to let employees know what policies affect their ability to employ them and pay their paychecks and benefits. But we need to do it in a way that's nonpartisan. It doesn't tell them who to vote for or what party to support. It's about the policies of freedom.
This is something people should know. I mean, whether it's a civics education, which we know is just lacking in this country, or from, self-study or whatever the case is, we've got people in the workforce who don't understand economics 101. So a lot of employers would say, I'm barely keeping my head above water. I'm worried about ticking off half of my employees if I talk about a policy. They've got a real tightrope to manage right there, given how divisive things are right now. So last few minutes we've got Linda. We're visiting with Linda J. Hansen from Prosperity 101. How does an employer navigate that space saying, I do want to contribute something positive, but I also don't want to destroy my workplace culture in the process?
Well, exactly. And first, they need to decide they're not going to be fearful. Okay, because speaking truth is something that is incredibly empowering, and courage is contagious. So they should not be fearful, because they're speaking the truths about what made America great, and what empowers people to have fuller, more abundant lives. But apart from that, they can, go to my website, prosperity101.com, but I have a free ebook there that can start the conversation. It's 10 tips for helping employers educate employees about the policies that affect their paycheck. I have poster packs. I have an online course. My podcast is devoted to helping people understand how to talk about these issues in the workplace without telling people who to vote for, without being partisan, helping to know the core issues so that you can approach it from the aspect of, I care about you. I care about you. I care about your family. I care that you know this information. You can do with it what you want, but I care enough to give this information to you and help you become a more informed voter. And that's what's going to take us into further times of freedom for America. Like I said, we have to make sure this isn't just a flash in the pan, but that we truly dig in and help people understand how to have freedom now, but 20 years from now, 50 years from now, 70 years from now, how do we protect it? And we have to re-educate. And if employers aren't doing that, who will? Because a lot of these people have already been through the whole public education system and college, where they're taught to hate America and believe socialism is great, right? And so if employers don't speak up and just give the basics, who will?
All right. And the website, once again, prosperity101.com. And I'm assuming the information to the podcast is there and the book there as well, right, Linda?
Yes, absolutely. And I'd love to hear from your listeners to see how, I can help serve them and enhance the communication in their workplace, that creates better loyalty, engagement, and retention. And when employees can say things like they've said to me, if those policies up there make it hard for Jim over here to pay my paycheck and my benefits, why do I want to vote for someone who supports those policies? That's a win, right? So that's what we go for.
Absolutely. Linda, thank you so much for the perspective on this. This is going to be new for a lot of people. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That is something up until talking to Linda that I had no idea was even available. So what do you think? Employers, do you want to start talking about that to your workers? Workers, everybody, employees, all of those of us who are making a living, do you want your boss saying, hey, you got to understand what the policies are that affect the business itself? What do you think? 314-912-1019. Let me know. That's interesting to me. 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
You make me weak and wanna die.
For podcast articles and more, find us on newstalkstl.com.
You said we try loving, touching, squeezing
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
each other.
Ready to soar beyond your limits? The U.S. Air Force and Space Force offer more than just a job. It's a launch pad for your future. With over 200 career paths, competitive pay, benefits, free education, 30 days paid vacation, and a chance to travel the globe, all while serving your country with pride. Your journey starts here. Call Jeremy Jefferson in St. Louis at 314-295-6834 or visit airforce.com and spaceforce.com today.
Mike Ferguson here. Retirement should be a time you can relax. No more stress from work. But there's one thing you can't forget about when retiring. That's your money. Do you have enough saved to fund your income for life and keep up with inflation? How will you claim your Social Security benefits? And what about long-term care? The ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel is here to help answer all of these questions. You can hear their latest views on the markets and investing during On the Money, hosted by Stifel financial advisors Bob Stockdale and Eric Robert, every Saturday morning at 9, right here on News Talk STL. They can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call 636-695-2650, 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey, this is Larry Connors. Make sure you're listening later today at 6 o'clock on News Talk STL for my show, Larry Connors USA. Now, back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Still too early for Christmas music.
I knew he was going to say it.
But it's Gary Hoey. Still too
If
early.
you have to listen to Christmas music, make it Gary Hoey.
There you go.
All right. Drones. Talk about drones. We got another theory that was sent in to us. We'll get to here in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
George makes an expensive misstep on TV. Going to cost ABC News a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Blues have a pretty good night at Enterprise. Let's go ahead and go back over the news jump.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out. You know, I mean, they got all the news. The morning news dump.
Okay, there's been an arrest made, but police say the investigation is not over. Their words are far from over. Late sometime on Friday, so just as we were heading into the weekend, Garrett A. Jordan III was arrested in connection with the shooting death of CBC student Colin Brown. Jordan has a long criminal history, and he was on probation for a felon in possession of a firearms case at the time that the shooting happened. He actually was just recently released from a federal prison about 6 weeks ago before that shooting that killed Brown on I-55. And police believe that was a stray bullet from a drug deal that went violent and then hit him on I-55.
You know what was driving down violent crime in America? It was our increasing prison population. And I remember the news stories coming out. It's like, surprisingly, prison populations are increasing while crime is steadily decreasing, as though it were a mystery.
Yeah.
You dummies! If you keep criminals out of society, they don't get to screw up society.
Yeah.
So that guy should have been in prison still.
Yeah, so my guess is he's heading back, and we don't have a lot of information on the actual investigation of this one, but if you want to look at the news stories, on the local papers and TV stations, they've got his criminal history, and it is extensive. All right, House Republicans looking to extend the Trump tax cuts. Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis from New York, Republican, was on Sunday Night in America with Trey Gowdy, saying the Republican-controlled Congress should start with extending those tax cuts that were enacted in his first term.
We are feeling very good about our chances to get it extended. It needs to be extended.
And I just got a note from political pundit extraordinaire Chris Arps, who was hosting on Friday here. He said Congressman Jason Smith, of course, the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, says that in the House, he wants to do the tax cuts and the domestic agenda at the same time, like right off the bat. while the Senate wants to do the domestic agenda now and the tax cuts later. That's a bad idea.
Oh gosh, no.
Yep.
Do the tax cuts now.
Yeah, Jason thinks the tax cuts, according to Chris, Smith thinks the tax cuts will never get extended if it's not done now. I suspect Chris is right about that.
Yeah, my goodness. Why would you delay on probably the most important legislation of your term?
Yeah. That's a really good question. All right, government officials are responding to questions about mysterious drone sightings.
There have been numerous reports of drones flying at night in New Jersey and other parts of the Mid-Atlantic region. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby said there's no evidence the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat or have a foreign nexus. That echoes statements from the Pentagon and New Jersey's governor. But several lawmakers want more answers, and Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut says the drones should be shot down if necessary. Greg Clugston, Washington.
And we're getting some additional theories in. We should be sharing those throughout the day. What did we just get in there?
Yeah, Daisy W on W19 on Rumble says, I think those drones are from the stuff we left behind in Afghanistan, and one of our enemies are using it. Or just aliens.
Yeah, well, it could be.
Yeah. I mean, either or.
See, I don't think we're going to see anything happen until one of them lands in Martha's Vineyard.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden, hey, what's this doing here?
Oh.
Hey.
Did you see the Babylon Bee?
No.
They're just, and I'm trying to, I'll paraphrase the headline. It was something like, drone sightings stopped once they reached Texas.
Yeah.
It was a picture of a guy with a shotgun.
Yeah. Right at the border of Texas.
Oh, man. Ah, geez. All right. A federal court rejected TikTok owner ByteDance's appeal to overturn a law that would force the company to be sold or to be banned from the U.S. Congresswoman Raja Krishnamurthy, who is a Democrat out of Illinois, saying all three branches of government agree the social media company is a national security threat. This is from Sunday Morning Futures on Fox News.
The D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals was
would be the wrong one here. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, that is the correct one. Yeah, this is the congressman. Yep.
The D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals was very clear. It's time for ByteDance to divest TikTok. And it's time for ByteDance to accept the law.
Okay, so TikTok and ByteDance are expected to appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. The social media platform likely will still have to be sold by mid-January, according to that law. And remember, Donald Trump's kind of been on both sides of this. He has pledged to oppose a ban of TikTok, but he did try to ban the platform during his previous term in office. So he's changed his mind on this.
Yeah, there's so many ways where we could kind of approach this where we're not kind of running afoul of messing with free enterprise as much as I think we might be doing with this. But I don't know. The government never really does anything nicely. It's like asking somebody to perform surgery with a pickaxe. So
yeah, I mean, I don't like a law that targets one particular business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that to me is a dangerous precedent, even if it's addressing a real thing right now. So that bugs me. Secondly, do you want TikTok going underground? Because I'm telling you, the tens of millions of users on it, it's still going. You can pull it off the app stores. It's still there. There's still going to be a way. When there's a demand for it, the market is going to reach that supply. You're going to literally have a black market social media, which I'm sure we do for other nefarious things. But do you really want TikTok going underground?
Yeah,
essentially what's
now if you own stock in a what do you call it, a VPN?
Yeah,
then maybe you want this to happen because all of a sudden all the VPN sales are going to go up because everybody's going to need one in order to access their TikTok.
Well, let's also talk about what the end user. So TikTok, popular among younger users. I'm not on TikTok myself, but what's going to happen is they are going to be mad at the government for banning TikTok. And if they do get TikTok taken down, and they're basically going to be, from their perspective, basically angry that the government is trying to shut down TikTok, and who are they going to blame for that?
Yeah, that's certainly the right. Now, of course, TikTok is a notoriously left of center area, so they're definitely going to blame the R's and not the D's who support this, because there are a number. This is actually a bipartisan effort.
Yeah. So I think the law was bad, and that's not to say I think TikTok is good. I think TikTok's awful. If you have it on your phone, you should delete it, then burn your phone and go get another phone. I mean, you've just installed a tracking device for the CCP, voluntarily in the marketplace on there. But, I don't like I think that there was a knee-jerk reaction that was all-encompassing and gave government way too much, or assumes government has way too much power on this. I don't know how the U.S. Supreme Court's going to rule on this once it gets there. I truly have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either. And one wonders how, if this thing stands, how it may be weaponized against us in the future, or against people we like. Like, let's say they say, Elon's actually from South Africa. That makes it a foreign-owned, Tesla and SpaceX are foreign-owned companies, and we can't have them operating on U.S. soil because of the technology.
Always be wary when you decide to give the federal government a lot of control over what's in the private marketplace. Just be really careful on that. All right. According to one hospital chain in Michigan, the safest way to walk on ice, because 'tis the season, we're coming up on ice, is to walk like a penguin. Yep. You've seen this?
I've seen it.
Yep.
Everybody does. Okay. You kind of do a little short step waddle.
Yep.
And you kind of you got to turn your feet out a little bit, 45 degrees, and you do the shuffle back and forth. I hate it so much. I hate it so.
I love that Bengals song.
That's right. Walk like a penguin.
Like
when I type that copy, I'm like, that I type it in that melody. It was there. So the video, which is from Munson Healthcare in Michigan, is on YouTube and apparently making the rounds like crazy right now. And they actually show you the way to do the little shuffle, like a little bird, to minimize your chances of falling. Get this, according to the Mayo Clinic, 800,000 people in the U.S. need some kind of medical treatment from falls on ice every year. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
You ever taken a header on the steps on the ice? I've done it a couple times over my life.
I've almost. I always kind of catch myself, but that it's usually because I didn't put the salt down when I was supposed to on my own steps. Like I don't think I've ever slipped on ice anywhere else.
Both times I've done it, it's been on my own steps.
Yeah.
So
I've always had friends who are golfers remind me, and I don't golf, so I don't have them. If you have golf shoes with the spikes on the bottom,
use the spikes.
That'll help you go back and forth.
Absolutely.
But I don't have any of those.
You need, if you're gonna walk on ice, you got to use the metal spikes, which is where the golf shoes come in. You can't use your football cleats.
No,
it's not gonna help.
I mean, I've
your
got
baseball cleats.
Yeah, my baseball cleats are molded. I don't have the metal ones.
No, they're not gonna help you.
All right, the Blues hold off the Rangers for a 3-2 win Sunday night at Enterprise. The Blues were up 3-0 at the end of the second period. Rangers came back, scored twice in the third, but that's where they were stopped. Joel Hofer, 26 saves overall. No game today for the Blues. Devils are in town tomorrow, so the Blues are following up a pretty lengthy road trip with a reasonably long homestand as well. So tomorrow night, Blues, Devils, Enterprise.
What happens next?
The outcome of this election is not what we wanted.
Happens right here.
My entire administration worked with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition.
101.9 and 94.1
News Talk STL.
Attention, reptile lovers. Ready to discover your next scaly friend? Welcome to the Show Me Reptile Shop, your ultimate destination for fascinating reptiles and exotic pets, with 3 convenient locations in Troy, St. Peters, and Springfield. We have an amazing selection of snakes, lizards, turtles, and more. Whether you're a seasoned herpetologist or a curious beginner, we've got the perfect pet waiting for you. Show Me Reptile Shop. Visit us in Troy, St. Peters, or Springfield, and online at showmereptileshow.com.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
KLGY HD3 Clay, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. California took a pounding over the weekend, compliments of severe storms that swept in from the Pacific. National Weather Service forecaster Dalton Behringer says tornadoes are rare in California, but not unheard of.
We deal with these types of storms that are rotating offshore quite a bit, that may produce water spouts over the ocean, and they move onshore. It's rare, but we see it at least a few times a year.
Government officials are responding to questions about mysterious drone activity over the Northeast. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby said there's, in his words, no evidence the reported drone sightings pose a national security or public safety threat. That echoes statements from the Pentagon and New Jersey's governor, but some state lawmakers are demanding more answers. A new birth, I should say, of religious freedom, at least for now, in Syria, weeks before Christmas. Christians on Sunday openly worshiped yesterday for the first time since the overthrow of the oppressive Iran-backed regime of Bashar al-Assad. Economists have their eye on the Federal Reserve meeting this week and the coming announcement on interest rates.
Americans waiting on lower borrowing costs for mortgages and other loans may be disappointed by this Wednesday's announcement from Federal Reserve policymakers. The Fed is widely expected to reduce the benchmark interest rate, but only by a quarter point to about 4.3%. The last few economic reports indicate that inflation has dropped, but remains stubbornly above the 2% target rate. Economists in Wall Street now predict policymakers will signal fewer rate cuts in 2025 and a more gradual pace than was previously expected. David Wilcox, a former senior Fed official and an economist with the Peterson Institute for International Economics, says we're on the cusp of a transition to them not cutting every meeting. I'm Jennifer King.
On Wall Street, Dow futures right now are up by 87 points, S&P 500 higher by 15. More of these stories at townhall.com.
Hear that? The soothing sounds of a bubble bath. And if you were here, you'd smell a single cedar leaf candle. But you're not here. Because your self-care happens out on the road, riding your motorcycle protected by Progressive. So if you ride, get back on the road and enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance from Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. And then take a shower, because it's fast, like your motorcycle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Roadside assistance may require comprehensive coverage, not available in all states.
For anyone with everyday aches and pains, I've got a question. What are you missing out on? Probably a lot. So let me tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In about 3 weeks, you'll discover what it's like to feel better. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's a wet early morning commute, but that rain is going to be moving on, and we clear out very quickly by later this morning. The sun comes out this afternoon. The high temperature 62 degrees, but it is definitely wet this morning. Overnight lows tonight in the 40s and a high tomorrow in the mid 50s. We're looking at sunny skies on Tuesday. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Piccadilly Palace, located in Union, Missouri. The ultimate family fun center is Piccadilly Palace. Call 314-860-6418 or visit piccadillypalace.com.
When it comes to spending your tax dollars and teaching your kids, governments and school districts should be an open book. But in Missouri, that's not always the case. Recently, the Show Me Institute sent out a sunshine law request to school districts across the state, asking for information on whether certain topics are being taught. Specifically, a controversial one called critical race theory was included in the list. Many districts didn't respond. Some wanted to charge large fees to process the documents. Lee's Summit outside Kansas City wanted over $35,000. A rural district, Morgan County, wanted $15,000. The Sunshine Law does allow charging a reasonable fee for sending out information, but there's nothing reasonable about $35,000 or $15,000. These districts should want to be transparent about their curriculums. Taxpayers deserve to know what their kids are being taught. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com. Mike Ferguson.
You play ball like a girl!
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I triple dog dare you!
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
Okay, did Arps do the Kofifi dance on Friday?
Sort of.
Was it any good?
No.
That's
Sorry,
a
Chris.
very reasonable answer.
Sorry, Chris.
I've seen the guy dance. That's a very reasonable answer. Just saying. Oh my goodness! All right, 2024, man. This has been a year marked by big changes across the board in our country. I'm not talking about politics, talking about business, economy, culture, basically everything. But I want to talk about the business side of it here.
Yeah,
and just some of the big changes we've seen, and I think a lot of it has to do with conservative media, alternative media, and conservative activism, not necessarily winning a debate, but just telling more people what was happening. We'll get into that here in just a minute. 7:06 right now. Don't forget our News Talk STL newsletter comes out on Wednesdays. You've got time to sign up to get this week's. This is a great newsletter. It just is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just go down the bullet points of the same thing I say all the time when I point that out, but go to newstalkstl.com, get the newsletter. It is completely free, and no, we don't sell your stuff to anybody else. But there's a lot of fun right now, especially Todd's just on fire with his Todd Showalter cartoons that are in there that are exclusive to that newsletter. So be sure to check that out. Okay, we mentioned we had a conversation with Linda Hansen from Prosperity 101 a little bit ago, about half hour ago, something like that.
Yep.
And she's got this project where they're trying to get into businesses, not with Republican or Democrat, but basically free markets, sound economics, to encourage employers to take the lead, saying, listen, employees, this is what happens if these policies get passed.
Right.
And we were kind of joking about, oh, you voted for minimum wage to go up. All right. Who's getting voted off the island? I can't afford all of you anymore.
Right.
That sort of thing. And if you want to hear that conversation, it's going to be up on our podcast before too long here. All right. But she mentioned like Robbie Starbuck, for instance, and he, and among others, he's not the only one doing this, lighting up business about their DEI nonsense.
He has refined it to, a science.
Oh yeah.
And it's kind of amazing. Like he drops it. He drops a tweet. It's like, you're next.
Yeah.
And then he drops some more tweets kind of revealing some insider information about their DEI program. The next thing that happens is you get an apology from the company,
right,
and a reversal of the DEI, and then he moves on to the next company.
And here's the thing is, you think about just a few years ago, we started doing these topics. We started doing them, the Town Hall affiliate started doing them, Red State started doing them, conservative media, Newsmax, Fox, all these different places, different websites, they all start exposing this stuff. Our friends over at the Free Enterprise Project, the Free Enterprise Project. With Scott Shepard and those guys, and they start exposing it as well from a business perspective, saying, why are you taking sides in the culture war, basically enlisting on one side? And we commented and we sort of lamented back in the day, well, it's because they felt like that's the winning side and they're safe, and it's been captured by all these younger people who've been indoctrinated at the universities. And so we had great red meat talking points to stuff to get people fired up with conservative talk radio here.
Sure.
Well, then what happens is you start getting this drip of evidence that says we're right.
Yes.
Robbie Starbuck was one of them. You saw everything. Who was the other one? Because he didn't do the Disney expose. That was somebody else. That was Rufo, Chris Rufo.
Rufo. And then there's Project Veritas founder,
James O'Keefe.
There's O'Keefe. Yeah. So there was Veritas, and then he got separated from Veritas, and he started.
They kicked him out.
Yeah, they kicked him out.
Yeah.
And he's got a new thing, and I can't remember what that one's called.
Right.
But
OMG.
OMG, that's
Yeah.
right. And then that
O'Keefe
was
Media. Okay,
yeah.
O'Keefe
Media Group. Yeah,
that's right.
And then that was basically doing the same thing, sort of the expose, hidden video sort of discussions with people. And yeah, each one of those groups is exposing some of this craziness that's going on in these corporate settings.
Right. And so what's fascinating, I think this has been one of the biggest shifts I've seen in 2024. And this is a shift in more of culture, because businesses were all basically going to that Penzies Spices mindset.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That we can be as culturally left-wing as we want.
Mhm.
Look, Disney can do it. Bud Light can do it. Target, everybody can do it. We just assume that the market wants us to be on the far left culturally, and we're going to parrot these things or promote these things. In 2024, that really shifted. Now, the shift started obviously before that with the Bud Light thing.
Right.
I mean, that was 2023
Mm-hmm.
that happened.
You want to know the story regarding that from over the weekend? Fortune magazine printed results of draft beer sales. So this wouldn't be the stuff you buy in the store as six packs.
Yeah.
This
Which
would
you're
be
at the bar.
draft beer, and Bud Light has led that for years.
Sure.
Michelob Ultra took over the number one spot.
Huh.
So it's ongoing.
So it's ongoing.
Yeah,
exactly.
it really still is. It's been a permanent thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's one of the biggest shifts that we've seen in the country has been, and this is, people can complain and say it's Republican, Democrat, Trump, whatever. I don't think it is. I think at some point, even the non-political people, they heard enough and they said, that's enough. I'm demanding a change. How many people, for instance, with which you mentioned the Bud Light, how many guys and women simply quietly said, I'm not going to buy that beer anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still doing it because Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch, AB, they have never came out and said, we were wrong.
Right.
And they'd probably win back. They probably win back. Now they went to buy off people.
Oh, sure.
I mean, Kid Rock at one point shooting a case of Bud Light with an AR-15.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they decided to sponsor his concerts or whatever and give him a bunch of money. And suddenly he's like, oh, well, you think about the people delivering.
We've punished them enough, kind of thing.
He sold out to some degree on that.
Sure.
Like, enough money, your principles become a little wishy-washy. That's what happens there. So, they fought back, but still people just aren't buying it.
No.
And they moved on. And then I think when you look at, a lot of businesses that have, again, thought that this is the safe place to be, nothing can happen to us, stuff started happening to us. There aren't a bunch of businesses rushing to be conservative businesses because we're not even asking them to.
No. Yeah.
We're not asking that.
We wanted them to stay out of it and just pay attention to the business. Now, your conversation here with Linda.
Yeah.
It brings up an interesting point, though, because there are aspects of the sort of political conversation we've been having for a long time now that do directly intersect with the need for them to do business. So, when we tell them, hey, business, stay in your lane, you don't need to be transing kids. Well, like, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Now here's another lane, though. The minimum wage fight, like we discussed,
right?
If you're not necessarily a McDonald's, but if you're a mom and pop store and you employ a few wait staff and things like that, and you say, you know what, guys, if prop whatever or amendment something or other goes through, I'm going to have to let one of you go because here's how my books work.
Right.
That might be a different story. That's actually within their lane.
And that's an education.
Yeah.
I had a conversation years and years ago. The first time we had one of these, well, maybe not the first time, but it was one of the times. This would have been back in the early 2000s. I remember I was at a Dollar General store and just getting a few things. And there was a minimum wage thing. And the gal who was working the cash register, she's like, yeah, we need this, man. We got to vote for, talking about this from the cash register. Now, she was definitely not a management or an executive type. Let's put it that way. And I went, okay. And she goes, we just need this. We need more money. We deserve this. It's hard. I said, oh, yeah, it's hard. I said, how many people work here at this store? And I think she goes, oh, yeah, about she said about 12.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, 12 employees. I said, which 2 or 3 should be let go?
Right.
She goes, what are you talking about? I said, well, you make them all of you more expensive. You either have to raise prices or somebody's got to go. I
Right.
said, so who would go?
Right.
And it's like I smacked her in the forehead.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
that's different than an employee proves their value and the boss says, I need to keep that one.
Right.
Because their productivity is so good. But when it comes to the businesses, not only shying away from the left-wing stuff, but we're talking dumping it with press releases. We're done. Please stop coming after us.
Yes, that's true.
That's a shift in mindset that says we're not going to buy into a cultural advocacy anymore that's on the far left. And you're wondering when they went into the whole transing kids things or the pride celebrations or all that, we were asking at the time, what is wrong with you? What are you thinking?
Right.
Well, now that shift has caught up and they're like, people really don't like it and they're willing to take their money somewhere else.
I think you called it when you were saying that they at one point they thought that they were on the quote unquote right side of history.
Right,
They thought that they were actually moving with the larger trend because the people who were coming into their marketing groups all thought the same thing. They were basically living in a sort of pseudo bubble, cultural bubble, and they believed that the weird left-wing ideas that they were on is the majority of people, and therefore they in stepping into that advocacy, they wouldn't be alienating a large portion of their audience. But now you look again, I think there's something about this most recent Trump win, especially because how it had a red shift basically in all demographics that suggests that is not it tells them no, that is not the majority. That is not the direction that the country is going to be going in the future. So you need to step back, or else you're going to alienate not just half of the population, but a majority of it.
Massive shift, though. I mean, that's a cultural shift that was louder, and it was louder than politics.
It absolutely was.
I think that a lot of what the election we saw was a result of that cultural shift.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know that the politics drove it, but the politics resulted from it.
Now, 101 Straight Up brings up a good point. It's like, I thought we paid taxes for teachers to teach these things about businesses and politics. And I seem to recall getting the basics in high school, but that was pre-Carter's education
That's
department.
true. Yep, precisely.
Yeah. Hey, maybe it does need to go.
Oh, yeah. It needs to go. All right. Everybody's talking about the drones, man. Talking about the drones. I'm still loving some of these theories you all are sending in.
Yes.
I want to read some of these. Let's get your best. What are those drones theories? Right around 7:20 here.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. The Almond Report.
Monday on the Almond Report, all the nuttiness from around the weekend, and Jimmy Hoff, the Gateway Pundit. This is the Almond Report on News Talk STL.
Jamie Allman, weeknights at 8 on News Talk STL.
Tony Colombo here for the cleaning pros at Zero Res, the team we trust with keeping our home clean and healthy. And the folks at Zero Res know how important it is to you to have a clean, healthy home this holiday season. And that's why they have this great offer for you right now. Book a cleaning with Zero Res and mention the Colombo special, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. Plus, you can take $75 off an air duct cleaning. Again, just mention the Colombo special when you call 314-474-2020 or when you book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. That's 800-515-2397.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. You could also reach Doug at 844-6766. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
News, analysis,
I'm glad you're talking about this.
opinion.
I'm glad you're fired up about it too, because I know I am.
News Talk STL.
Dan Bongino here. Keep it on News Talk STL because my show starts at 11 a.m. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, 'tis that time of year, the New Year's resolution.
Oh, yeah, those things.
You guys make New Year's resolutions?
Sort of.
Yeah. How about you, Seth?
Not really, because I realized by January 2nd, well, by my birthday on January 4th, I've broken all of them.
My next question was going to be, do you stick to them? But I guess I want to ask that question.
No, not really.
All right, just ahead here, as I said a little bit ago, drones. What should we do about the drones? And I want your theories on them. Let's discuss that at 7:35. Actually, our buddy Tony Kinnett from the Daily Signal is going to be here. I want to know his best theory on the drones.
Oh, no doubt. He's got
But
some
we've
good
got
ones.
several of them coming in, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's just throw one out there.
Okay, so Righty Right says Hunter lost another laptop. It has footage of a Kamala campaign party, so the drones are working overtime to find it.
Oh man,
are they anything like the Diddy parties?
I was gonna say I saw a couple social media posts by some of B-level actors who were like making the claim, and it was the good Baldwin. Which one's the good Baldwin? Stephen Baldwin.
Yeah.
Saying that there apparently are actors and like managers and producers that are in bidding wars to get the tapes from the Diddy parties because they are so damning for everybody in them that it is a matter of like self-preservation to get their hands on. First of all, I couldn't imagine there's actually tapes anymore, physical tapes.
Yeah, these are files.
They're looking
someplace.
for the files, which by the way can be copied easier than tapes. So.
Yeah, this it's a very interesting concept because you're also seeing a lot of people actually moving this time. Did you notice that after the election, there are a lot of people who are actually moving out of country. You know, it's like, hey, here we are in our new home in France. I'm like,
well, you kept promising.
I mean, yeah, I was like, this is the first time in how many years that you've been promising if there was a Republican elected, you'd leave. And you actually did it this time? What's different?
Yeah. Is there a variable?
And, Mike, we had a discussion on Friday. Gabe, Chris, and I talked about LeBron taking a couple of weeks off.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, saying that, hey, I was 4 for 34 in my last couple of games. I'm just not feeling it right now.
I need a break. I'm gassed.
Yeah. And that was that quizzical look was the same look we had on Friday. And Chris was adamant about Michael Jordan never would have done that.
Exactly.
And we said, Chris, I think there's more to it than just Michael Jordan saying, I need some time off. LeBron saying, I need to take a couple of weeks off. There's more to it than that.
There are a lot of stars who look real nervous these days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Real nervous.
I obviously with the horrors of whatever happened. And listen, if they were just like a bunch of adults being gross.
Yeah, I mean,
that's your business, man. That's your business.
I would expect that actually out of Hollywood.
Like a frat party.
Frat party. It's like, but if it's something nefarious, which is the suggestion here, because hey, back in the day, the whole sex tape thing.
Sure,
remember?
Yeah.
At first it was, oh no, my sex tape is out, and then it was,
it's only $29.99.
Yeah, and then it was, hey, I produced a new sex tape. Don't get it.
Yeah,
and now it's like, oh boy, oh boy, I need some time off. Could preferably out of country in a non-extradition nation. Yeah. So.
I just feel like I have to shower every time I read one of those stories.
Seriously.
All right, but resolutions here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Sometimes we just need help with those. So I think we should ask Siri. What resolutions people are making this time around. So
get
Siri,
AI involved.
Yeah, Siri.
Here are some New Year's resolutions for Americans for 2025. Groundbreaking stuff here. Lose weight, save money, and be happier. They're the same ones you said in 2020. And 2021, and 22, 23, and 24. But don't worry. I'm here to remind you daily about that yoga app you bought and never opened. Cheers to another year of setting goals you'll forget by February. Let me know if you need help ordering kale. Happy New Year.
Ordering kale.
Nothing I hate worse than a smart aleck Alexa.
I know, exactly.
I'm telling you, the AI uprising has already started. It's just right now they just inconvenience us and get snarky with us.
Precisely. All right, so I've got a feeling though. Do you think the whole New Year's resolution thing is kind of just fading? I mean, it's like when maybe it was when I was younger, maybe it was an age group thing, but when I was younger, everybody was making them, and you were here's to write them down and put them here, and don't forget, and the most common resolutions have not changed according to YouGov.
That's true.
It's the same things we all do all the time every year, with as far as losing weight, saving more money, investing more, things like that. It's all the same stuff.
Yeah. Maybe we're not hearing it as much because we still haven't gotten close enough to New Year's to really think about it. Folks are still stuck with trying to figure out what we're doing for Christmas.
Yeah.
So maybe when we get past Christmas, they'll start popping up.
This year feels really weird.
It is.
Yeah.
Very weird.
It feels weird because Thanksgiving came and went almost like we have a reunion every 2 years. My family has a family reunion every 2 years on Thanksgiving. And even then, as much as I was looking forward to it, as much as I had fun at it, it felt like Thanksgiving just kind of disappeared this year.
Right.
And all of a sudden, we're staring down the barrel of Christmas. We're like a week from
Wednesday.
From Wednesday.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is happening right now?
But get this, you know who is most likely to make a New Year's resolution?
Who?
18 to 29-year-olds.
Okay, I could see that.
After that, it's far less.
I was gonna say, because between the ages of 18 and 29, you still have hope.
Yeah.
After 30, you just gotta give up. It's like, you know what? This is my life. It is what it is.
I mean, I used to do it, and there were some that I would stick with for a long time. I think the longest running one is, I think it was it 1999? No, it was earlier than that. But it was a New Year's resolution that I was going to stop drinking soft drinks. Stop drinking, pop, as I grew up calling it pop in Central Illinois. To this day, I don't. And it's been like 25, 27 years. It's been close to 30 years. I don't drink soft drinks anymore.
That's really good.
The closest I ever came is like, I would get some lemonade and then I put a little like dash of Sprite in there to fizz it up a little bit. But I don't drink stuff. If I tried to drink a Pepsi or a Coke or something like that, it would probably taste like syrup to me, just like spicy syrup to me. I don't do it anymore. That's the biggest success I've had with New Year's resolutions.
That's pretty awesome. It kind of speaks to, I guess, the addictive nature of it, or how
I had headaches,
habit forming, things are, and I guess you created a new habit. The new habit being avoiding soft drinks.
Oh yeah, because I literally went through withdrawal. I was drinking so much.
Oh man.
I was working. This would have been early to mid 90s. I guess that I made that resolution. Come to think of it, because I was still working in Columbia, Missouri when I was in college, so early 90s. And I would get there early. I worked at one of those athletic shoe stores, and I was right next to the food court. So I'd buy a big 79-cent thing at Taco Bell,
and you can refill it.
I could refill it all day long. And I did. And then when I stopped drinking it, I had headaches. I couldn't sleep. I went through some kind of, I didn't think
absolutely withdrawal.
Yeah. So what I did is I replaced it with this drink called Clearly Canadian.
Oh yeah.
You ever heard of this?
Okay. Sure.
So
of course I have, Mike.
Yeah, that's right. The fruity fizzy water.
Yeah.
And so instead of drinking the pop, I would drink that. And of course, that Clearly Canadian was a lot more expensive. And so I would replace it with that, and then I wouldn't drink nearly as much, and then I had to go drink water. And I haven't touched pop since the 90s.
That's pretty awesome.
Is Clearly Canadian still available?
Oh yes, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, you can get a
black cherry was my favorite.
You can get a pallet of it at Costco.
Oh no kidding.
Yeah, you got to go way to the back corner, basically where all the fizzy waters are.
Yeah.
But Janet, one year she gave up chips, potato chips.
Oh yeah,
Now, in order to understand how big of a sacrifice this is, at some points in her youth, Janet would eat chips for dinner. Like that was her dinner. It was just chips. It's like
every cardiologist listening is like, no.
I know. So she was, now of course she was, in her 20s. No, just chips.
No, just chips.
It's like that was back in her 20s.
Did she have a favorite?
But, oh gosh, salt and vinegar chips were her favorite. Yeah.
Okay.
hard on the mouth. But she recently gave up chips for a whole year, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
just watching her do it, I was like, that's very inspiring.
Exactly.
As I chowed down on my Doritos.
There you go. That's exactly. Okay, so the most common, according to YouGov, the most common resolutions: save more money.
Of course.
Which is, that to me, the economy has a lot to do with that. This Biden economy we've been in.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to save money because everything's more expensive.
It's very hard.
The second one, obviously, something to do with get in better shape, improve your health, something along those lines. Exercise more, being happy. 22% of those who are making resolutions.
That's a silly resolution.
Just want to be happy.
That's always a silly resolution to me. It's like, what do you mean? What does that even mean?
Yeah. And then there's, eating healthier, losing weight, improving mental health now is another one. Learn something new, reading more, improving relationships, more time with family, paying down debts, religious and spiritual goals were way down the list. Traveling, quitting some kind of bad habit,
right?
Probably smoking or something like that. But
chips.
So it's chips
and soda. Soda.
But it's the same stuff every year. I just see fewer and fewer people look at the New Year's thing as like, all right, line of demarcation. I'm going to do or not do this.
Yeah.
So that's the question I'll put out there to everybody. Do you have any New Year's resolutions? Oh, yeah. Somebody just mentioned I'm referring to it as pop.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what it was in Central Illinois.
So do I.
It
It's
was
still pop
yeah.
for me.
Yeah. Maybe it was an Illinois thing.
It was soda for me in New York.
Yeah. All right. 314-912-1019. Drones, people. Drones. Keep those theories coming. Tony Kinnett from the Daily Signal going to be with us right around 7:35. Got a little bit of Larry Connors coming your way here in just a moment on 1019-94.1 News Talk STL.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's a wet early morning commute, but that rain is going to be moving on, and we clear out very quickly by later this morning. The sun comes out this afternoon. The high temperature 62 degrees, but it is definitely wet this morning. Overnight lows tonight in the 40s and a high tomorrow in the mid-50s. We're looking at sunny skies on Tuesday. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Larry Connors here with a perfect Christmas gift for the conservative in your life. Let's go to southern Italy on a tour of the most beautiful coastline in the world, the Amalfi Coast. Join me for 11 magical days with professionals from Conservative Tours, $54.88. That includes airfare from St. Louis. Call toll-free 888-733-9494 or go to conservativetours.com. Let's go to Italy this spring.
Larry Connors Commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit Vincent'sJewelers.com.
On the next
Larry Connors USA.
Look, a drone here, a drone there, a drone over there, a drone everywhere, and no one can give us a clear answer.
Larry Connors USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
My sponsor, Wellington Environmental, has helped thousands deal with hazardous materials. Hospitals, offices, schools, even homes. Here's something new. Wellington now offers dustless blasting. This is just like sandblasting, but without all the dust and emissions. Wellington uses everything from ground glass, walnuts, corn, even dry ice pellets. One university had Wellington remove their parking lot striping because dustless blasting is fast and it does not damage the concrete. So as a business or homeowner, I'm sure you could use this process. Industrial tanks, swimming pools, graffiti on buildings. And in fact, Wellington is blasting a Texaco station that will be revised as an historic building. Check the website for details and photos. WellingtonSTL.com. WellingtonSTL.com.
Craving real barbecue, St. Louis? Your search ends here. 4 incredible locations, Bogart's, Dale Smokehouse, and 2 Pappy's Smokehouse spots, each serving up mouth-watering, slow-smoked perfection. Only the highest quality meats, prepared with love and care by our friendly staff. From ribs to brisket, our full menu has something for everyone. Dine in for lunch or dinner, or let us cater your next event. Bogart's, Dale Smokehouse, and Pappy's Smokehouse. Where smoke meets delight, every bite is a highlight.
Free speech is alive and well in America.
Thanks for taking my call.
Right here.
My point about the governor there, it is absolutely about power.
I read this, I almost fell out of my chair.
News Talk STL.
This thing is just absolutely dripping with iron.
News, analysis, opinion.
Danny Define here with the Next Gen, all new time this Sunday at 8 p.m. I'll pour up a hot cup of coffee and tune back into the Mike Ferguson Show.
All right, when it comes to drones, guys, never fear. Joe Biden's Homeland Security Department says, we're on it. You got nothing to worry about. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Never fear. We're here.
Then you say, okay, well, what are they? And their answer is, oh, no. Okay. But it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine, though. And they've got an impeccable track record for everything being fine, right?
All right. If you haven't already connected with us on social media, please do that. Here's what happens. Everybody's schedules goes crazy during the holidays, as you know, but we still want to stay connected to you. So find News Talk STL on all the social media platforms and find us as well. You can find me on X, Twitter at AVP Radio Show. You can find Gabe there at it's St. John Philosopher, or is it John Philosopher?
At John Philosopher on Twitter, St. John the Philosopher on YouTube and Facebook.
Yep. All right. So connect with us as well here. 7:35 right now. Now joined by Tony Kinnett from the Daily Signal. So Tony, I mean, really know why we're wasting our time with this conversation. I mean, Alejandro Mayorkas and the Biden administration says it's fine. These great big Volvo-sized things flying over the air over populated areas. We don't know really what they are, or who owns them, or where they're coming from, or what they're doing. But just trust us, it's fine. So I guess there's nothing to worry about.
This is what just drives me bonkers, like bonkers supreme, like a little bit of an extra charge here, but it's worth the bonkers. So the craziness about this entire situation is that this is why the capital of trust is important. This is actually why there are some of the libertarian folks who said, well, maybe it's really good that Americans don't trust their institutions. And that's stupid. There is a need for institutional trust. And when you spend your entire administration blowing it by allowing Chinese spy balloons to sail the entire continental United States, by a botched Afghanistan withdrawal, by not even being able to close the border or protect it, by not being able to keep these migrants from killing Americans in supposedly safe communities, then all of a sudden you have what you might consider a real situation, whether it's drones that are detecting some type of a possible dirty nuke situation, or whether it's Iranian drones, or whether it's China for the 8 millionth time. All of a sudden, they really need us to trust them because maybe they are doing some investigating. Maybe this is difficult. It's too late. They already screwed themselves by making it impossible to trust them because they're incompetent toddlers.
Good morning, Tony. Gabe here. So we've been asking around about their favorite conspiracy theories,
Yes.
and which one kind of strikes your fancy?
My favorite conspiracy theory
on the drones.
About the drones.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I was about to open up a can of worms there, eh?
I was going to say that Mattress Firm is actually a money laundering operation.
Oh, that's mine too. That's mine too. Absolutely.
Oh, no. My favorite conspiracy theory currently about the drones was that it was Iranian. Now it actually is the dirty nuke thing. The way that these are operating, the way that these are obeying Federal Aviation Administration regulations, and given the timing, it really looks like there has been something that has slipped through. I know, how could something ever slip through in the Biden administration? And there may be a shipping container on the eastern seaboard that contains some type of dirty nuclear device. And so they're sweeping the East Coast for gamma radiation.
Wow.
Boy, oh boy. Hey, Tony.
We had somebody else say something similar on social media earlier on that as well.
Yeah. And Stout Pontica's here. So I had a friend over the weekend text me and say, maybe they're Chinese balloons in disguise.
Hey. Now we're in a little Temu drone action. One of those is carrying a shipment of bats back to Wuhan.
Oh, there he is. Man, he went there. Well,
I love it.
Hopefully one of them's got one of those presents I ordered for my wife that never showed up. So if they could redirect that from New Jersey to my house, that would be great. But I mean, back to your point, I mean, it's interesting when you point out the need for institutional trust.
Yeah.
That is 100% correct.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people, we want to destroy things because we want to destroy. it's like, do you hate government enough? Well, maybe not. How much you hate government. But the point that you're making, Tony, I think I want to follow up on this. I mean, we always have a lot of fun when we're talking, but this is absolutely crucial, is that when you talk about needing law and order, that's not just on paper with laws, that's also in civil society as well. But in order to have that trust in our government, which is in theory is serving and protecting us, they have to be trustworthy. And that's what we have seen year after year after year in recent years, is a deterioration of that trustworthiness. And so I think that's a lot of some of the shifts that people were making this year and demanding this year, is we are demanding a government we can trust again, which means we're demanding one we can watch and be transparent and keep an eye on and hold you accountable. Because when you've got all these drones everywhere and every level of government is saying, we don't know what the hell this is, we were back to square one to saying, well, what are you all here for? What are you doing here?
So this is one of the things that I want to point out from this year as well, as we're doing kind of a summary, is that hurricanes Milton and Helene, and those specific situations, you had two types of governance. You had Ron DeSantis, who knew exactly what he was doing, who knew everything that was going on, and had Florida back up immediately. Florida got hit harder twice than you could make the argument than some of the places that are still suffering so specifically, because all of the administrations who are busy focused on pronouns and how many transgender people they have working there for the Biden administration, when he wasn't sleeping on a beach, or Kamala Harris wasn't going on Call Me Daddy, the podcast. It turns out that governance in times of crisis matters. This is the difference. This is why voters chose Trump so resoundingly. People think, well, it's because they just really liked how, boisterous he is. Well, I mean, sure. I mean, in a way that, occasionally I'll say, man, doesn't he look really great out there on the basketball court, if I'm talking about, a particular college basketball team I'm quite fond of. However, it matters a whole lot more about the scoreboard.
Yeah.
I want to see in times of crisis what you did. Here's yet another example of why Democrats being so focused on genitalia and skin color is ruining this country.
Speaking of some other issues that we were having with transparency in the government, what about these presidential pardons and commutations? This is I saw a chart showing the level of the number of pardons and commutations by this president, and it dwarfs every previous president. What the heck is going on?
I don't even have any criminal record, and I'm feeling like left out that I wasn't pardoned for something.
Can I get
I'm not even a convict, and I want a pardon.
So this is actually really great for Republicans. It's great for a number of reasons. Number one, it just tells everyone, hey, we were right the whole time. They're corrupt. Number two, pardons are for when you did something wrong and you get a pardon saying, hey, it's okay. You don't have to serve the crime because I'm showing mercy. It's not supposed to be, well, I think that the justice system made kind of a mistake here. That's not what the pardon is for. It is supposed to be a measure of mercy from the executive office. And so what Biden has done for the entire country is said, that's right, he did it. He was corrupt and I'm giving him a pardon. It's like, oh, wait, so all that time, like he actually did do it? And it's like, well, also when you think he might have did, it's like, wow, oh gosh. And then, like the child pornographist Chinese spy who was part of a prisoner exchange or some nonsense. That's amazing. We have literally given up all kinds of insane terrorists from the Middle East, and then spies and warlords from China and Russia and all other kinds of nonsense just to get American citizens out of places that should have never been there in the first place because Biden wants to play king. It's a mockery of the American system, of course, but it is so bizarre to be sitting here at the end of the year watching Biden just hand out pardons like they're discount coupons for the nearest like KFC. It's insane.
I'm waiting for Commander to get a pardon for all the biting that he did as a security dog. I'm sure he's going to get one. It's probably in the mail.
Hey, I'm still not convinced that cocaine wasn't Commander's. That's true.
That's true. I'm wondering if he's going to give Disney a pardon for making the Star Wars sequel. I feel like that's a pretty serious crime.
They don't deserve it, though. They don't deserve that pardon.
Well, wait, hold on a second. I mean, who of these do deserve a pardon? If there's someone who doesn't deserve a pardon more than Disney, I'm ready to hear it.
Yeah,
I hate those guys so much.
So you've got Gabe's ire up now.
I hate them so much.
I think he's actually said straight to jail, talking about some of these Disney
straight
movies.
to jail. Yes, absolutely.
I want Trump to start opening up Gitmo like it's a chain restaurant. I want Gitmos everywhere for these people.
Yes, Gitmo for the people who created the Disney sequels.
Oh
yes,
my
absolutely.
goodness!
Dinner at Gitmo.
Well, let me follow up because we were actually just talking a few minutes ago, Tony, of just 2024, among other things, has been a year of big shifts and a lot of these cultural things on there. It's not even just the market said no, we don't want the LGBT stuff to ruin all of our stuff just because doesn't belong there. But we've got the market pushing back against businesses that are losing the DEI stuff. I mean, between Chris Rufo and Robbie Starbuck and some of the others, we've got them saying the culture doesn't want this. They have said no. They tolerated the woke left-wing stuff in the business place, and now we're saying no. We're seeing in education, we're seeing business. We are at least at the moment in a cultural shift. How long it goes, how far it goes, I don't know. But we are seeing a massive reaction, and I think a correction to some things that have been just shoved down our throats for years now.
So believe it or not, my example for this entire situation is a Hardee's commercial. So there is, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it came out a couple of years ago, and it shows like the kind of mid 2000s Carl's Jr. Hardee's marketing ads, where it was all just a bunch of like women running around in bikinis eating like massive burgers. And it was like kind of starting to get a little bit weird.
Yeah.
And they ended up making a commercial in which the original Cardi, like Carl Sr., he came in and he like threw all of the junk out and said, "We're going back to making good old American food for your mouth." And like that was a good commercial. But through the entire commercial, this guy who looked a lot like the lead singer from Maroon 5, whatever his name is, he kept like trying to interrupt his father and like make excuses for his actions and retain power. And his dad just kept saying, "Shut up, Junior," and then kept explaining to the crowd what he was planning on doing. That's what America needs to do with all of these corporate woke goobers and Starbucks baristas. Whenever they talk, I'm not saying whenever they bring up a woke point, whenever they speak, you just say, "Shut up, Junior," and then you go back to what you're doing.
Yes.
Because you've ruined culture over the last 10 years. I don't trust your judgment. Well, we need bipartisan like conversation. Shut up, Junior. The adults are talking. I don't want to hear it. I'm sorry. You were the one who said that we need toddlers to get reading hours from drag queens. You go sit in the corner. We're going to go ahead and release public education back to the states. You can come out when your timeout is done.
That's an awesome
And
reference.
you're going to be about 54 when that happens. Just so you know.
Yeah, exactly. At least.
Yeah. All right.
If you qualify for parole.
Which, unless Biden's already given you a preemptive one.
Yeah,
Precisely.
All right. See, that's what the Gitmo chain restaurants are for.
Yes.
I'm a capitalist. I'm investing.
Absolutely.
I'm in. I'm franchising, man. I'm doing it. All right. Tony Kinnett, Daily Signal. We've already tagged you on our social media, but in case somebody hasn't seen it yet, the way to follow what you, and I hope people do that, is what?
At the Tonus. TheTonus if you're a masochist.
There it is. Thanks, Tony, man. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, guys.
All right, 314-912-1019.
I love talking to Tony.
Oh, this is so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it goes back. I mean, when I'm looking at all the stuff in the news today, and frankly, as we head into the end of the year, we're seeing the patterns of those shifts over 2024. Because remember, we started this radio station going on 3.5 years ago. So 2021, I guess it was.
Right.
And the first 2 or 3 years, we were lamenting how bad the culture had been captured by the far left. Well, now we're seeing that pushback.
Oh, yeah. And the pushback was hard. Like I actually am heartened by the level of pushback we've seen in the recent months and year or so.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious how long we're going to have with this to right some of the wrongs that have been pushed on us.
Yeah, there will be a pushback to the pushback at some point. So how permanent do we make basically the ground rules?
Right.
All right, 314-912-1019. All right. How about one of those end of the year 2024 questions here for you? You know why? Because we can. You think about it right now. Best concert you attended that you saw in 2024. All right, be thinking about it. Getting a couple answers on Rumble on that already. Right here, 1019-941 News Talk STL.
Follow us on Rumble at News Talk STL.
I wanna be just
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Why don't you call my name? Oh, let me be a sledgehammer. This will be my testimony.
Looking for a top quality tactical gear and expert advice? Look no further than Discount Tactical, your one-stop shop for all things firearms and self-defense. Located in the heart of Warrenton, we've been serving the community for 3 years with our friendly, professional, and knowledgeable staff. From custom AR builds and silencers to the largest selection of parts, we've got you covered. Self-defense weapons, SBRs, knives, ammo, custom holsters, weapon lights, optics, and body armor. Discount Tactical. Online at discounttacticalarmory.com or stop by today and gear up with confidence.
With the average funeral bill over $9,000, are your loved ones prepared? Speak with Benjamin Schaefer at Senior Memorial. Contact Benjamin at memorialplans.com. Memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial, everlasting protection.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Attention St. Louis small business owners. Dive into the power of video with Blue Ocean Media Group. We create affordable, eye-catching content that makes waves on social media and strengthens your brand. Don't let big budgets hold you back. Our professional team delivers pro quality at small business prices. Boost your online presence, engage customers, and watch your business grow. Visit blueomg.com today to start your video journey. That's blueomg.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com.
Hey there, Tim Jones here. Make sure you join me and my buddy Chris Arps this afternoon from 4 until 6 p.m. right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Right now, let's get back to more of Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I actually think it's not just a lot of fun, but there's a reason to look back as you get towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that Christmas is kind of landing this year, because it's next week.
Yeah.
And so for most people, there's like a week and a half of like nothing.
Yeah.
So now's the time to kind of look back on stuff. So what was the best of 2024 for you? I'm going to ask that kind of throughout the week. I'm just really curious what people think on that. Don't forget, News Talk STL. We've got we want to fill your stockings with great gifts. How about gifts like News Talk STL merchandise? How about a 1-year range membership from Metro Shooting Supplies in Bridgeton and in Belleville? How about, what else we got here? Oh, gift cards from Woodson Stonefire Pizza. That's on West Clay in St. Charles.
Man. Awesome pizza there.
Yeah, that's our stocking stuffer giveaway. Goes to newstalkstl.com right now. Register. You could win. We've got like a couple $1,000 worth of things from the area that are just great stocking stuffers. So newstalkstl.com, you can get in on some of that.
Again, the only thing I hate about these is that I can't win.
That's right. We can't win. Yep. Let's see here. 2024 overall, good year or bad year or something else for you?
2024.
Yeah.
It's about in the middle.
You've had a mixed year.
I've had some good. I've had some bad. Yeah. But overall, I'm kind of happy. I will be especially happy when the basement's done.
There you go.
Before the end of the year. That's my goal.
Yeah. All right. What do you think,
it was so for me until November 5th. And it's been totally awesome since November 5th.
There's a lot of people who feel that way.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people who got so wrapped up in the politics of it, and now they're kind of going, "Oh, let me look at the rest of life at this point. I can breathe a little bit." It's been a mixed year for me. It really has. I didn't, for the first time in a couple years, I didn't have anything like health-wise happen with my eyes or anything like that.
Yeah,
didn't break any bones. I mean, I've broken one bone in my entire life, and it was my orbital when I got hit with that errant ball.
Right.
But I missed the ball because my other eye stopped working the year before that. So I had depth perception, so I didn't have that, obviously things are going really well here at News Talk STL, but it's been a mixed year.
Yeah. You didn't get to do the World Series.
I did not get to do the World Series
Florida.
this year. Well, that's just because
election years are tough.
it was right around election time. And so I tell the guys I can go 3 out of every 4 years. Last year was the year I couldn't go. So I am going. I decided over the weekend that I am going to do my preseason tournament in March. I'm going to go back to Florida, and then I'll go back and play in the World Series next year. That's what I do with my vacation time on there.
Good.
All right. So I asked the question, put this out there. So in the last few minutes we've got here, best concert that you saw this year.
Now, I don't go to concerts very much, so I can't answer. I can't answer this
Did you
question.
go to any concerts this
I
year?
didn't go to any concerts
No
this year.
concerts this year.
0 concerts.
Okay, well then how about this? Just for you.
Okay.
But for everybody else, the
All right,
question is
just for me. Okay.
Movie.
Oh, best movie I've seen.
Yes.
This year. Did I see a movie this year? The Reagan movie was really good.
That was
Yes,
good.
it was.
That was a good
really
movie.
good.
Yeah. Yep. That's one.
Yeah, I would put that up there for movies and concerts for me. The Goo Goo Dolls, the Pride of Buffalo, New York, when they were at the Washington Town and Country Fair over the summer. They were great.
See, I really wanted to see that, but I think that was on the same night of when I was at another concert. I still don't remember which one it was.
Might have been.
Because I remember you're telling me that they were in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike, I like the Goo Goo Dolls. That's one of the few 90s bands I really like.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been a lot of fun. So I asked that question on social media here. Rizan says Pantera and Lamb of God in Kansas City.
Pantera,
man. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. There were some others that have been here.
Barely Big saw Tower of Power.
See, if I'd known Tower of Power was in town, I would have been there. They were apparently at the factory.
Yes.
That would have been a lot of fun. That's the horn section thing. That would have been a lot of fun.
Goat Lady.
Yeah.
She went and saw Strange Love, a Depeche Mode tribute at the pageant.
There you go. See, I'm having trouble picking which of the 2 concerts if I had to pick one, the best one. I'm having trouble narrowing it down. It's Alice Cooper or Creed.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that Creed one for a while after it.
See, here's the thing: is I expected Alice Cooper to be so much fun and a great show,
right?
Because I've got so many friends who have seen Alice Cooper and they talked it up, and he met all the expectations.
Right.
It was I would go back to see Alice Cooper like tonight.
Okay,
to go see another show with Alice Cooper. With Creed, I'm thinking this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a good show. Take me back to not college. I was already out of college when Creed was kind of a big deal.
But the bar was set a lot lower.
Yeah, but I was like, this will be all right. This will be fun. And they just blew everybody away.
Right.
I mean, because it became fashionable to like make fun of Creed.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
For a while. And then you're like, it's one of those concerts that you didn't want it to end. That's a good show.
That's a huge bar, actually. Yeah. The one where you really want to stay. And
Right.
it's been hours. You're peopling way too much.
Oh yeah.
But you're okay with the peopling so
Right.
long as the concert continues.
Because even
That's
like
huge.
some other like your favorite bands, it's like, oh, okay, it's been an hour and a half.
Right.
All right. It's I've had fun. I'm ready to go home.
You're
man.
looking
Let's-
at your wrist even though there's no watch there.
let's make this a memory now at this point, but you're still here, so it's not a memory yet.
Right,
Right.
right.
But I had a great time. But Creed is like, come on, just play one more. Just keep going.
I would say that qualifies it as your best one.
And I did
for
the
this
one
year.
thing I never ever do.
What's that?
I bought the t-shirt.
Oh,
because I have a moral objection to paying $50 for a t-shirt.
Right.
But I'm like, you know what? They earn the t-shirt
Deserved.
money. They
Deserved.
earn the t-shirt money.
All right.
So, I mean, I'm a 52-year-old. What am I going to do with a concert t-shirt? Seriously. What am I going to do? No.
Give it to the cats.
Number 1 for live and local
Conservative talk.
I've been a registered Democrat for 28 years. I'm really glad you're talking about this. You gotta love these idiots out here. They think we're all stupid, I guess.
news, analysis, opinion.
Totally agree on that. I disagree with you.
It's over.
Very upset. Thanks for taking my call. Thanks for taking my call. Thank you for taking my call. Thank you very much for taking my call.
Wanted to ask you really quick. Is there room on the bandwagon for me?
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Tim Jones here for AMF Electric, in business since 1965, offering a full line of industrial, commercial, residential, electrical, and system services. AMF is a merit shop. They work successfully for all owners who favor freedom of economic choice. Yes, even on other AFL trades jobs. At AMF Electric, they're unabashedly pro-American. Call them 314-647-4066. Online, amfelectric.com. That's amfelectric.com.
Dive into adventure with Great American Divers. We're your local veteran-owned scuba center offering PADI certification courses, equipment repairs, and dive travel opportunities. From beginners to experts, we got you covered. Kids can join our SEAL Team classes, and we even host pool parties. Our experienced staff is passionate about teaching, and we're the only center in the area with our own indoor heated pool. Great American Divers on Central School Road in St. Charles. Visit greatamericandivers.com. Great American Divers, where adventure runs deep.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
He is Mitch Baden, president and CEO at Royal Banks of Missouri. And I'm very curious, how did you guys do in your 2023 economic forecast breakfast?
Our audience actually got it right who would win the election. Now, again, we didn't know who the nominees would be last year, and they actually selected the Republican Party to win the presidency. So we were right on that one.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Rain, snow, and even warm weather moving across the country. Here's correspondent Julie Walker.
After the cold and snow in parts of the country, warmer weather moving in some parts making for a soggy start to the week for many in the mid-Atlantic. That's the bad news. The good news, says National Weather Service senior meteorologist Brian Hurley.
As we get into Tuesday, it'll be near 60, lower 60s in the D.C., Baltimore area, and probably mid to upper 50s in New York.
Other parts of the country will remain seasonably cold with snow in the northern tier from Washington through Oregon. I'm Julie Walker.
Europe and Israel are using different approaches when it comes to dealing with Syria after the overthrow of President Bashar al-Assad.
The Israelis essentially think that the Western countries are deluding themselves. These people are, well, they're certainly Islamists. They may well be jihadists. They come from that background. Don't take any risks. Bomb them to blazes, bomb away their military infrastructure, and safeguard the country that way. On the other hand, there are those who believe in Western countries it's necessary to deal with Syria and try to make it into a stable country. Now, the new rulers of this country say that they are Islamists, but they want to have a pluralistic, diverse society.
This is BBC's Jeremy Bowen reporting. 2 teens killed, 4 injured in a shooting in a makeshift club in Houston. Police Department Assistant Chief Luis Menendez-Sierra told KTRK.
It's kind of like one of these last-minute parties, pop-up parties that have been popping up lately. It's kind of like a social media deal. Seems like the crowd was a majority juveniles.
In fact, a 13-year-old girl is among those killed. On Wall Street, Dow futures up. The Dow futures up 75 points at this hour. More from townhall.com.
If you just grin and bear it or bite the bullet when it comes to everyday pain, don't. Try Relief Factor, a drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free. It's developed by doctors. In 3 weeks or less, you'll know whether it works for you like it works for me. Try Relief Factor for yourself. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
This Christmas, gather your loved ones as we at TBN celebrate the birth of Jesus. Enjoy powerful performances by For King and Country, Matthew West, Danny Goki, and Natalie Grant. Along with inspiring messages from Joel Osteen, Rick Warren, Max Lucado, and others.
Merry Christmas to you guys.
Tune in or stream meaningful programming anytime on the TBN Plus app. Visit tbn.org to learn more and make TBN part of your...
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's a wet early morning commute, but that rain is going to be moving on, and we clear out very quickly by later this morning. The sun comes out this afternoon. The high temperature 62 degrees, but it is definitely wet this morning. Overnight lows tonight in the 40s and a high tomorrow in the mid-50s. We're looking at sunny skies on Tuesday. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Senior Memorial. With the average funeral bill being over $9,000, are your loved ones prepared? Call 314-866-8886 or memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection.
Hi, I'm Helene Tobler, culinary nutritionist at Body of Health Direct Primary Care. Here we do practical wellness. Dr. Randy and I have a common sense approach to healthcare. My passion is helping our members enjoy better nutrition because food is medicine. We approach problems with a lifestyle foundation and cutting-edge medical tool chest. At Body of Health, it's about being your healthiest you. If you want to experience healthcare the way it ought to be, schedule a discovery call today at bodyofhealth.com. That's bodyofhealth.com.
In the fast-paced world of digital marketing, making connections is a challenge for any business. But what if we told you there is a place where connections aren't just made, they're grown? Meet 2060 Digital, your premier Google partner and top-tier digital agency. We don't just follow trends, we set them. At 2060 Digital, we're not just another agency, we're your strategic partner. We dive deep into your challenges and develop solutions that drive measurable outcomes. Ready to elevate your digital presence with campaigns that connect? Google 2060 Digital today.
Mike Ferguson.
It's a miracle we're not in prison.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
Are you kidding me?
Get up! Get up! In case you hear the alarm. Get up, St. Louis.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin God.
All right, a lot going on in the news, including drones.
They're everywhere.
Drones. Our boss just stopped in. He's like, we just saw one like by our house.
Yeah, seriously.
Hopefully not the same crop of drones. But drones everywhere. Keep sending in your best conspiracy theories on what the drones are.
Absolutely.
Because eventually they're going to be here. They're like sky cockroaches. Big, giant sky cockroaches.
If your neighbor gets them, you're going to have them soon.
That's right. like giant sky headlights.
Giant sky headlights.
There it is.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, man. Also, George makes an expensive misstep on TV. It's costing a news network a lot of money. Okay, I've got that story here in the news dump. And then let's talk about that right around 8:20 as well. Blues have a pretty good night at the Enterprise Center. It is going on 8:06. Let's dump some news on you here.
Wake up, America. It all worked out. You know, I mean, they get all the news. The morning news dump.
All right. An arrest is made, but police say the investigation is far from over. I'm actually surprised that there's been an arrest in this. So
Me
they
too,
obviously caught a break in the investigation.
Mhm.
As we headed into the weekend, Jarrett A. Gordon III was arrested in connection with the shooting death of CBC student Colin Brown. Jordan has a very long criminal history. I mean, I couldn't even write it all into the news copy here because let's just say he's well acquainted with the justice system. Yeah.
Mhm.
And a matter of fact, he was on probation at the time for a felon in possession of a firearms charge, which means that was from a previous case where he was convicted of something as well.
Yeah.
So Garrett A. Jordan III had been released from a federal prison about 6 weeks before the shooting that killed Colin Brown. Of course, that happened on I-55. Police say it was a stray bullet. And at this point, they believe that it was a drug deal gone violent. And that resulted in the shots being fired and Colin Brown being hit. Of course, he and his dad simply driving back from a hockey game, literally just, I don't know whether they were going home or wherever they were going, but 100% innocent, wrong place, wrong time situation. So if they've got somebody involved in this, if this guy truly is involved, that is remarkable work by investigators.
Oh, yeah. Now, so shocking that a career criminal who had been let out recently would commit another crime.
Precisely.
You dummies. You got to keep these guys out of society so they don't do these kind of things.
Yeah.
By the way, I think the tip line that they set up, the anonymous tip line, was probably one of the reasons why they got this break.
I hope so. That is a huge help in so many areas, especially a city like St. Louis, which one is so violent per capita, and secondly, understaffed and underfunded on the police department.
Especially with the reward available.
Yes, the reward.
Right.
Absolutely.
Precisely.
Part of it.
Yep. All right. Let's see here. As Republicans prepare to take over both chambers and the presidency in January, House Republicans hoping to protect Donald Trump's policies from the first term. Specifically, we're talking about the Trump tax cuts. Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, Republican out of New York, was on Sunday Night in America with Trey Gowdy on Fox last night, saying the Republican-controlled Congress should start its session with extending Trump's tax cuts.
We are feeling very good about our chances to get it extended. It needs to be extended.
Yeah, and here's the thing is this needs to be done. Republicans should do this. This should be agenda item number 1. This should be the one thing that all Republicans say, we're going to extend this, whether indefinitely or for another 20 years, whatever the case is. Get it done now. Do not water any part of this down, because the Democrats are like, hey, we can water this down or kill it by making sure nothing happens. Republicans have to proactively pass a law, pass a bill in order to extend the tax cuts. If nothing happens, we all get a tax increase.
Right, exactly. And there will be hell to pay, especially from Republicans during these primaries, if any of these guys show themselves to be an enemy to this bill. And the fact that there's now a split in terms of priority between the House and the Senate, that does not bode well. I hope these guys get their act together.
Let me make it very clear. Republicans in Congress, if these tax cuts are not extended, it is your fault, period, end of story.
That's it. We're not accepting any other excuses.
Don't point at the Democrats and say, well, they wouldn't play nice. You're in charge. You were given the majorities. You get it done. You don't need them to get it done. No excuses, period. All right. Government officials responding to questions about the mysterious drone sightings up on the East Coast.
There have been numerous reports of drones flying at night in New Jersey and other parts of the Mid-Atlantic region. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby said there's no evidence the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat or have a foreign nexus. That echoes statements from the Pentagon and New Jersey's governor. But several lawmakers want more answers, and Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut says the drones should be shot down if necessary. Greg Clugston, Washington.
We're having some unusually tough talk from some of our officials. I mean, get this. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas was on This Week on ABC, actually calling on Congress for additional authorities to address the drones.
We want state and local authorities to also have the ability to counter drone activity under federal supervision.
Counter drone activity. You know what that means? Shoot them down.
That's shoot them down.
Shoot
Absolutely.
them down.
That's what it means.
Blow stuff up.
Yep. We just got some breaking news in, by the way, that actually they're looking for New Jersey native Vic Porcelli.
Oh,
really?
So don't squeal or anything.
I'm just saying, snitches get stitches.
I see nothing.
That's right. That's the way to look at it. Oh, my goodness. All right. Speaking of Donald Trump and his upcoming administration, he still has obviously a lot of his administration to get past the U.S. Senate and actually put into place. And a lot of his cabinet picks have been swarming Capitol Hill, meeting with senators ahead of the confirmation hearings once they are formally a nominee. South Dakota Senator Mike Rounds was on Sunday Night in America with Trey Gowdy on Fox. I didn't see Gowdy's show last night. Sounds like it was a really busy, packed show on there. And he commented on how those private meetings with those soon to be formally former nominees are going to be.
In the private settings that we have right now, it's a great opportunity to get to know the folks, make them feel comfortable, but then also give them, as they say within the constitutional things, advise and consent. Well, the advice in some cases goes directly to the candidate about things they can do to improve their odds of looking good in front of the American people.
And some of these are going to sail through with no problem whatsoever.
Oh, absolutely.
There's going to be a little bit of a slap fight over a few others. And actually, honestly, that's kind of healthy. I think there should be vetting and there should be some back and forth. I see, some people on social media, you know what, 100% Donald Trump should get deference on every single pick. Just give him everything. Well, that's not the way our system's set up.
No,
there really should be some critiquing done. And we've already had some positive responses out of some of that, because like the one guy he wanted for the DEA was awful.
Yes.
And fortunately, he's been sort of pushed back into oblivion where he belongs and back down into his county job in Florida right there. There's nothing wrong with the advise and consent. There's a reason that was written into the Constitution.
Absolutely. And I hope the same happens to the Surgeon General prospective nominee as well, because she was very much a COVID tyrant.
Yeah.
And, just and also goes along with the whole trans craziness also. So, there's nothing there for us. So that's why where the advice and consent really comes in. We have to hold our people accountable to the ideology we want them to have.
And we had Pete Hegseth
Mhm.
getting a lot of bad rap and tough situations with stuff that's happened in his life in the past. And I think from what I've seen of interviews with him, his life has really changed quite a bit since 2018, his personal life with his wife, and also making a commitment to Christ in his life in 2018. And I remember hearing about that before, but I had never seen him specifically talk about it until he did a lengthy interview with Megyn Kelly. But there was that one interesting incident last week where ProPublica, or I used to call him ProPublica, I guess they're ProPublica, said that he never was accepted at West Point. And he came out with the actual copies of his acceptance to West Point. Nice going, ProPublica. So I thought, well, chalk went up there for Pete on that, because they came out and totally lied about the situation. And he said, here's the paperwork right here. I didn't go.
Were you expecting journalism?
Yeah.
No.
You're right. And Hegseth is one of those who may or may not make it through.
Correct.
I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. One of the things, just on an interesting note on that, is, and my wife found one of these stories, is that some reporters, journalists, writers are now going to AI to say, tell me about this. And AI is getting it wrong. And they're just saying, here's the
AI told me.
Here's what happened. And they're not vetting AI, and they're trusting it already. And AI is getting it wrong. And sometimes it's malicious and they're just lying. Other times it's complete incompetence. Other times it's trusting a technology to do our thinking for us, which is what we're looking to AI to do. Draw pictures for us if we don't have the talent to draw the pictures ourselves. Imagine the script for us. I mean, do things for us that either we don't want to, or we can't, or we don't have the time for. And you're going to start seeing more and more and more of this, because AI builds on what's out there, and there's a lot of false information out there. So eventually AI is going to have false information that it spits out as true.
Yeah, AI is really just it's a black box, and you got to remember, one of the prevailing rules about black boxes is garbage in, garbage out.
Yep.
And so the input to AI, which is just an aggregator and it disseminates the information in intelligible ways, is us. We produce the information that goes into the AI. So stop making AI stupid.
Right. Because whatever momentum it has, that's what's going to happen, which is why you've also got to take a big, close look at who's going to regulate and control AI, because I don't know that I want an activist left-wing deep state government saying, well, we got to control AI to protect you. Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to take my chances with the free speech side, but we need a way to have some sort of transparency, consumer rights. I'd rather them look at the consumer rights side of it. All right, real quick here. The Blues hold off the Rangers, get a 3-2 win Sunday night at Enterprise. Blues were actually up 3-0 at the end of the second period. Firmly in control of the game. The Rangers scored twice in the third, but they were stopped there. That second goal was scored like 8.5 minutes, with 8.5 minutes left in the game, and they were stopped. Joel Hofer, 26 saves. He's having a really good string here about the last 3 weeks. A lot of saves. No game today. New Jersey Devils are in town tomorrow. I cannot confirm or deny that they will be arriving at the Enterprise Center in drones.
Indifference. Stop it right now before you blow us all away.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin.
Tim Jones here. I'm here with Eric from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers, a St. Louis jewelry tradition since 1961. What are you all doing over at the jewelry store?
Wow. Well, first I want to say don't let fine and fine jewelry confuse you. We have pieces starting at $100 that will keep your loved one happy for a lifetime and look like you spent thousands. Get started early. We also have a wish list to ensure your loved one gets exactly what they want. And we're also bringing back a layaway program to make your life easier. Newstetter's Fine Jewelry is truly where honesty and integrity meet. We're all about quality at a fair price. Our goal is to guarantee that the gift you give will be loved for a lifetime. Come in and meet our professional staff that will put your needs above all else. There's never any pressure here, just an attentive family that listens and educates you to ensure you're completely happy and the gift you give is perfect.
Experience that fantastic Newstetter's difference today at wowdiamonds.com. Newstetter's Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine in or carry out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
Getting new flooring can be exciting, or it can be a hassle. To make sure you have a great experience, use Michael's Flooring, like I did. Hi, it's Susie Moore, and Michael's Flooring has become my go-to for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, natural stone, luxury vinyl, it doesn't matter. Michael's Flooring is ready to help. 3 locations to pick from: St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloor.com. That's igotfloor.com.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
Hey, how you doing? Santa Vic here.
And Santa's head Vic head here.
And you can win some great prizes with News Talk STL's St. Louis Conservative Christmas.
You forgot the ho-ho-ho. You forgot the ho-ho-ho.
Oh.
No, ho-ho.
Oh.
A St. Louis Conservative Christmas. Log on to newstalkstl.com for your chance to win. Brought to you by Woodson Stonefire, Tropical World Pets, El Morelia Supermercado, and Metro Shooting Supplies.
Oh.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk. Live and local.
I need to know what's going on in my city.
News Talk STL.
Bill O'Reilly here. Check out the O'Reilly Update this afternoon at 3:45. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
I'm having so much fun on Rumble right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned I never buy the T-shirts. At the concerts, and there was a really good point that was made here. Corporeal Being says, with music being available for free, I figure the main way artists make money, meaning merch. So I don't have a problem supporting artists I like by getting a shirt if I really like them. That's fair.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
a good point.
I agree.
Yeah, the way musicians make money these days is so different than it used to be, right?
I mean, you look at like the streaming, and you're like, Van Halen's making X amount of dollars every year on all these songs. They're doing but
it's making like 12 cents.
But but when 10 million people probably play the song every day, they're doing just fine.
Right.
It's all of those others who are just trying to get by.
Mid to low tier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're now the flip side is anybody can produce a song and put it out there and start making money. You don't have to go through the same process.
Absolutely. Yep.
By the way, real quick before we get to this ABC settlement with Donald Trump, I was telling Gabe this. I don't think you were in the room still. My wife and I accidentally stumbled across one of the most interesting and fun little documentaries over this weekend. I think it was called like The Greatest Night in Pop Music or something like that, or Greatest Night in Music or something. And it was the story of the song We Are the World.
Oh, back in the mid 80s.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a huge deal. By the way.
Was massive, but it was basically Lionel Richie telling the story of how they pulled that off. And now you just hear the song, and it's a little cheesy, a little corny now, although it's still making money for that famine relief in Africa for charitable. I mean, it actually still is doing it. It was fascinating.
Such a great lineup of artists.
And the video cameras were rolling, and they interviewed several of them. And you're looking at this, you're like, I'm amazed that they got this done.
Well,
and so
it's funny because it was basically the Avengers of music at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
It was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen a crossover like this before. Yeah, and you're not going to see it again for a reason.
No, not at all.
And Quincy Jones was all over it.
Quincy Jones was the
producer of it.
He was a producer. It was the song was written by Lionel Richie and Michael Jackson.
Right.
And then Quincy Jones produced it. And so they had some audio of Quincy Jones being interviewed before. Obviously, he passed away earlier this year. But they had all sorts of. It was fun. It was fascinating, and there were so many things where it was this close to not actually happening. It was just a lot of fun. So if you are a child of the 80s, or a young adult in the 80s, I mean, you would
World
love
was
this
a thing.
Oh, yeah.
It was a big deal,
massive. And I completely forgot that when they debuted the song, that it was done live on satellite.
Was it at Wembley Stadium?
No, remember the song itself. They were releasing it, and like all the radio stations could like tap into the satellite and play the song.
Okay.
All at the same time when they debuted it. Then they did I think it was Wembley, where they did some performances of it, or at least some of the artists were there. But they actually, all these singers went from the American Music Awards in Los Angeles, and they snuck them over to the studio where they went through recording the song until like 6 or 7 in the morning. So all these singers like gave up their fancy Hollywood parties to do this song,
man.
And it was
an ordeal.
It was fun. It was fun to watch that.
Was it a 6-hour session in the?
It was like 10 hours.
10 hours.
Yeah, it was like a 10-hour session.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah. So because remember, Lionel Richie hosted the American Music Awards,
right?
And he had to finish the song, and then he went and had to coordinate, all these big superstars on there. So I am not a big like pop culture guy.
Yeah.
But we had so much fun watching that. It's worth looking up. Okay, get this. ABC News is out $16 million after a settlement with Donald Trump. So this is a defamation lawsuit. And the settlement is because of George Stephanopoulos saying on air at one point that Donald Trump had been found civilly liable for rape in the E. Jean Carroll case in that trial in New York. Trump was not found liable for rape. He was found liable for sexual assault, but not rape. And you may say, well, isn't that just shades of the same thing? But those have very different definitions under New York law.
Yeah, very significant.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to the court.
Yeah, and this one. And so ABC News is going to pay $15 million into sort of an escrow account that is going to be used for the future Trump presidential library. And then another $1 million is to his attorneys to pay their legal fees.
The most interesting aspect of this story to me is the fact that that they settled.
Yeah,
because the thing is, it's not as though it's it's something that they need to just get rid of. It would hold up operations. It would be an impediment or something, or it's going to cost too much. It's one set of deep pocket lawyers versus another set of deep pocket lawyers, and ABC had everything to gain if they wanted to poke the Donald Trump or the Trump administration in the eye with, okay, you can't tell us what to do, Mr. Trump, kind of thing. So the fact that they gave in and just said, you know what, we're just going to pay you the $16 million and just kind of get this away, that suggests that there was something deeper there. Maybe I might be reaching, but
let me also, because we've had the debate on some other stuff. For instance, Pete Hegseth paid out a settlement in a sexual assault accusation case.
Now, if he didn't do it, it makes sense.
Well, does the same approach to it hold true then? ABC News is settling because maybe they don't want this thing getting into the deeper. They want it to go away, or I mean, is it the same mindset when you look at that case as well? Well, I mean, you paid out the settlement, so something's there,
right?
I mean, is that the same thing?
I think it's different, particularly when we're talking about an individual who isn't necessarily the deepest of pocket, because you have it's like, okay, well, am I going to spend a whole bunch of time and money fighting this thing? And then it, not only that, but it becomes a thing because now I'm, the news media is following me to the courtroom as we discuss all of these things that I probably don't want discussed in open court. It might make sense to say, okay, let's get rid of this, even if I'm not guilty of what I'm being accused of. For ABC, there wouldn't have been a downside to fighting it. I guess maybe that's what I'm getting at. Is that there's a downside to fighting a false accusation. I should say there can be a downside to fighting a false accusation as an individual, or even an organization, depending on what the situation is. But in this case, I don't think there was a real downside to them fighting it.
Yeah, I think you're right. So I think there's a couple things on this. One, I think everybody's kind of winning on this in a weird way.
Yeah.
First of all, Trump is winning, and I'm not even talking about the settlement money itself, because this is pennies to all these people.
Yeah.
This isn't This isn't real money.
It's not a
to
ton
these
of money.
people. They live in a different world than we do.
Mhm.
This is, I think, him making it clear, I'm going to hit back against you on the court. You don't have free reign to say whatever you want about me.
Right.
I'm going to hit back. You'd better be ready to defend it. So kind of the lawfare going the other direction.
Right.
The way that they did this settlement, that's going into a place that is an actual charity that's already been set up, a nonprofit, the Presidential Library. If you donate to, for instance, the Harry Truman Presidential Library, you can take a tax write-off for that. If you donate to, I'm sure, the Lincoln stuff, if they're set up in a similar way, it's a foundation. So ABC News is actually going to be able to write off the $15 million donation.
It's a wash
on their corporate taxes, which again, $50 million is going to be nothing on their bottom line sheet. But they kind of win as well on this. But you're also going to have them being more careful about throwing around words like rape when they're talking about Trump.
Corporeal Being suggests ABC might be keeping their seat in the press room with this move.
Oh, that could be too.
And
mean-
you also got Disney in the background, since ABC is owned by Disney.
Right,
That's a good
so
point.
that kind of makes you wonder what's going on. Plus lawyer fees. Who knows what the lawyer fees would have been like if it
if this had
dragged on
gone-
for
oh,
another
yeah.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah, but they don't care. I mean, again, it's another $16 million, right?
Right,
It's like that's still pocket change, especially for parent company Disney.
Right.
Now, well, maybe not these days because they're not doing so good.
They're not. I mean, they're taking a bath on all kinds of stuff on
Mhm.
this. All right, we've talked about the Trump tax cuts.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to Congressman Mike Bost about that here in just about 4 minutes. But he's in the House, obviously. He's in the House. Tiny majority. How unified are they? Let's get the update from the Capitol. Like I said, in about 4 minutes here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson in the morning. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's a wet early morning commute, but that rain is going to be moving on, and we clear out very quickly by later this morning. The sun comes out this afternoon. The high temperature 62 degrees, but it is definitely wet this morning. Overnight lows tonight in the 40s and a high tomorrow in the mid 50s. We're looking at sunny skies on Tuesday. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Fox News commentary.
DHS Secretary Mayorkas is downplaying the drone situation, and that should terrify you. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Hi, I'm Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stifel. Financial advisors, let's face it, if you're not growing your practice, you're losing market share. Stifel is a growing, entrepreneurial, advisor-centric firm built for successful advisors like you. There's a reason why 148 financial advisors joined Stifel last year. Come join us and find out why Stifel is the firm where success meets success. Visit www.choosestifel.com.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
President Ronald Reagan once said the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." And he was not wrong. However, I'd say an equally terrifying reality would be the government assuring us the SUV-sized drones flying over a U.S. state every night for a month are nothing to worry about. Well, DHS Secretary Mayorkas is making the media rounds to downplay concerns over the mysterious drones traversing New Jersey and other states, but he's not making a convincing argument. He has suggested the drones could have been purchased at a convenience store and also laments the federal government's inability to do anything about them. How stupid does he think the American people are? This is the most dishonest and diabolical administration in U.S. history. They lie and lie and lie about absolutely everything. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Craving a taste of Italy? Look no further than Vitale's Deli.
We're bringing a little bit of the hill to the heart of Glendale, serving up a delicious variety of sandwiches inspired by authentic Italian flavors. Call 314-966-9912 or visit vitalesdeli.com.
Your heating system isn't getting any younger, and waiting might cost you big. Katie here at Elite Comfort Experts. With new government mandates and 2025 manufacturer price hikes, delaying a replacement means paying more. But here's the good news. You can save now with tax credits, utility rebates, and easy financing. No gimmicks, just guarantees. Don't wait for your old furnace to quit for good. Call Elite Comfort Experts today and replace your system before prices go up. Call Elite at 636-887-0971.
I've got a way for you to really dress up your home, and only one guy I'd trust to do it. Michael Proctor, like doctor. Michael will personally examine which drapes, blinds, or shutters will complement your home. He doesn't just measure, he designs, and to make sure it's done right, he will install them. All this saves you money on custom-made drapes, shades, and shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. ProctorDrapery.com.
Southern Armory, your hometown gun store. Come and be more than just a customer. Southern Armory, we carry the best guns, holsters, knives, magazines, ammunition, and even food storage. Special orders are welcome. Southern Armory, 1 mile east of 270 and 44, 9901 Watson Road, and southernarmory.com. That's southernarmory.com.
Whether you're purchasing your first firearm or adding to your collection at Southern Armory, you're more than a customer, you're part of the family. Follow Southern Armory on Facebook or at southernarmory.com.
If you find yourself feeling out of place in the world, it's comforting to know conservative values haven't been abandoned everywhere.
Thanks for being my voice in all this.
This is News Talk STL.
There are people out there that feel the way that I feel and say what I say.
Welcome home.
Love the music you hear on the morning show? Check out Mike's morning music playlist at newstalkstl.com.
Okay, I want to follow up what we were just talking about then at the news dump that we just did, that newscast.
Yeah.
Regarding the Trump tax cuts. And what we're being told is that the House Republicans and the Senate Republicans have different versions of where that is in the priority list. We're being told, and we're going to find out for sure here in a minute, that in the U.S. House, Republicans are saying, let's do it now, up front, early in the session, make sure this gets done. We're being told in the Senate, it's like, okay, we're going to do a domestic agenda. We definitely have the tax cuts, but we're going to worry about that a little bit later on this year because we have a little bit of time, or for whatever reason. I like, if that turns out to be true, I like what I'm hearing from the House a lot more. It is 8:35 right now. I'm Mike Ferguson, got Gabe Pfeiffer here, got Stel Ponticus here, joined now by Congressman Mike Bost from Illinois. And Congressman, great to chat with you again. Thanks so much for being back on the show.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you got it. Okay, so what's the mindset in the U.S. House? You've got such a tiny majority right now. The Trump tax cuts, to me, should be top 2 or 3, if not number 1 for the Republicans. Yeah. What's the mindset in the Republican caucus right now for that?
Let me tell you why we know that it's vitally important. Because remember, we've spent the last 2 years in the majority, and unlike Democrats who follow along and are like lemmings, Republicans each have their own mindset and trying to get, with a small majority, them all to agree on something. But let me tell you, I do believe we all agree on reinstating and keeping our tax system where we passed in 2017. Because basically what we did, so it passed the pay-go, basically, you had to show the revenue and balance and everything like that. We could only have certain of these tax cuts last so many years because of what the government. There's an oversight group for a budget, and they basically said you got to do it. You can't do it that long. So what we did was we had the drop off date, which is at the end of 2025. It's December of 2025. But I think the House, well, the reason why we're wanting to move it so quickly, we know how hard it is to actually move things around here and trying to get our own people to stick together. I think we'll be able to move it, and we'll move it early. Then we'll send it over to the Senate. But the Senate doesn't quite move like the House, unfortunately. I'd prefer that they moved it right away. I think you'll see it come out of the House fairly quickly, go over to the Senate, and then sit there a few months while they're trying to decide, which I don't even understand why they would want to modify it. I think it's perfect the way it was. If you can remember how it stimulated the economy, and it will do a very, very bad job on the economy if those taxes are allowed to reappear.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to point out, and I hope you can address this, is it's hard enough to get obviously bills through, and to some degree that's by design. It should be a challenge to get. There's nothing wrong with that, but this isn't about we have a goal, let's pass a law to do this. If nothing happens, we all get hit with a tax increase, meaning that
That's
it's easier to sabotage something than to pass something on this. So the question then comes down to is how united are Republicans going to be on this particular thing, even if y'all fight amongst yourselves over everything else?
Right. Right. This is a thing that Republicans should be united on. I've not heard anything from our conference, somebody trying to drag their feet and go, well, I'm not sure. The only argument might be in there. There is groups that have states that have a higher tax on property tax in their states. And if you'll remember, that's an acronym of SALT. Those states want SALT put back in, which basically you get a tax. If you pay property taxes in your state, those are deductible from your federal income tax. And these 5-6 states are wanting that put back in. That's the only argument in here. Everything else they're good with. They're just wanting to get a basically. But what that does is that knocks your balance out.
Good morning, Mike. Gabe here. So what I'm hearing from the CBO is that they're scoring this as a hit, basically, against tax revenues. But don't we already have evidence that it increased tax revenues last time? How do you have to square that with the CBO?
That's also why we want to get rid of the CBO because they don't calculate like you and I. They don't give you credit for saving. They only give you, and what's wild is, so if you pass a bill that has a new program in it, and that new program expires at the end of 5 years, then they don't count it against you for a cost against the budget. However, if you pass a tax relief, and it expires in 5 years, they're going to count it against you if you don't do anything, or if you do it again. You see what I'm saying?
That's weird.
So they don't really calculate things well. They don't give you credit for saving. They don't give you credit for showing that your GDP goes up because people reinvest that money. But as I said, that's why we would like to get rid of CBO.
We're visiting with Congressman Mike Bost from Illinois. Okay, so then the flip side of that, obviously, is the spending. And then, of course, with, Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk being appointed to the commission, the Doge Commission. Of course, a lot of people are really excited about them coming up with the list, but people need to understand they can't do a thing about cutting it. It's got to go through you all to cut that.
That's correct.
So what's the preparation for that? Because again, I think if Republicans fail to make massive cuts because people are so excited about this,
people are going to hold them accountable.
Yeah. Yeah. So
here's the thing you want to watch about Doge. Okay. Remember, we've had Blue Rock Ribbon Task Force before. I'm excited about it. Okay. I was enjoying meeting with them. I've always said, to try to run it as much like a business as you can, make sure you control each line item. If they want to come forward and give us statements of how they would suggest we would save, then we will try to our best to implement that. But remember, once again, you've got to get through the House, you got to get through the Senate, you got to sign by the president. Now, there's several things that the president can do through administrative rules, which he will probably do, to reduce overall spending. Now, the advantage that you have, and let me give you an example. I've been blessed again by my colleagues to be a chair for the VA for the next 2 years. And there are things, now, anytime somebody says we're going to stop a program or we're going to do something with the VA, instantly the Democrats come out and scream, oh, you're hurting our veterans. No. Sometimes you're not hurting the veteran at all. You're actually benefiting the veteran because you're getting bureaucrats out of the way so that you can actually provide the proper service in the way that you need to. And the advantage that we're going to have as Republicans this time, the new secretary, who doesn't look like he's going to have a problem being confirmed by the Senate, is a guy by the name of Doug Collins. He's a very good friend of mine. Doug and I will work together to go through even with those committee, it will probably do things too. But we're going to be able to go through and show how can we reduce certain spending, reduce maybe some, we've got a lot of empty buildings in VA. Okay, how do we start saving taxpayers but still providing the quality services to our veterans. We'll be able to go through that, and each agency should be able to go through that as well. There's a lot of good ideas already. I think we'll move forward with it, but you are right in the fact that they don't have governing power. They don't control the purse. The House controls the purse. They can give us suggestions. They don't control the administration. They can give advice to the administration. They can give advice to us to try to do things we need to do to save. But also remember this, they've not been in government, which is a good thing on some occasions, but it's a bad thing when you don't know if you pull this pin out over here, why something else might fall.
Right. I actually was going to bring up the Veterans Committee chair, but congratulations on retaining that, by the way.
Thank you.
I wanted to poke at you a little bit, I guess, on you know what the priorities are in fixing the VA. I mean, my dad had VA healthcare, and it was not the greatest. And I'm just wondering how do we fix the system for our veterans?
Well, first off, remember it's the second largest bureaucracy in the world. And we passed what was known as the Mission Act several years ago, which allows for the veteran themselves to choose, do I want to go to VA or do I want to go out into the private for private health care coverage? Democrats don't like that at all. They think it's privatization of the VA. That is not privatization, but understand this, and this is vitally important to remember, and I say it so many times. The VA was not created for the VA. The VA was created for the veteran. And we need to remember that, and we need to make sure that we can. One thing that we're going to do is we've got to implement that if a VA employee messes up, right now they end up spending a lot of time moving them around and never firing them. We're going to give the power back to the VA to fire. Now, that doesn't mean they won't have due process, but it does mean that if a person is doing a bad job for our veterans, we're going to remove them, and that's upper level and middle level. And now understand that the frontline worker, most of them are under contract as far as they're unionized. So we have to abide by that. But that being said, we also need to modernize VA. Right now, we have a tremendous amount of buildings that were built in the 1950s to provide health care from the 1950s. We need to modify those buildings and actually get it back down to where the veteran gets what they need when they come to the door. We have to actually, another big issue for me that we're going to deal with in the VA, you do know since the Brady Bill passed 30 years ago, if a veteran has to receive help from the VA and they just have to assign them a fiduciary, they automatically turn their name over the next list and remove their Second Amendment rights. That is wrong because it doesn't have due process. We're going to carry a bill to try to get that straightened out. We're going to end a lot of wokeness in the VA while providing health care. I understand a lot of people are like, well, why are you worried about that? Well, this VA over the last 4 years has done some things that were ridiculous. Flying the gay rights flag, also performing surgeries that were never meant to be performed in the VA, including gender reassignment surgeries. VA, in 1996, there was a law that passed that we don't do abortions in VA. These are some things that have to get straightened out. But this is all money. When you're spending money on woke, you're not spending it on veterans.
Right.
All right, Congressman Mike Bost, really appreciate the update. This is a unique moment in time. You've been in the office, for several years now, and I suspect that you're probably seeing what the rest of us are. Every election's important, but there's something unique about the moment in time we're in right now. Right. There's a tremendous opportunity to get a lot of good things done.
Here's what we have to do. We got to get sworn in. We got to get the president, his appointees, and secretaries that he needs as soon as possible. And we're going to hit the ground running. And we've got an agenda of everything from the border to economy, making ourselves energy independent again. And we got to do that within the first 100 days so that people know that we're serious about what we're doing.
Yeah, the 100 days I think is going to be crucial as well. Congressman, great talk to you again. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, 314-912-1019. That 100 days matters. I was about to. It's kind of funny how he says things like, "I was about to ask about that."
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly. And I was about to say something about the 100 days. It's an arbitrary line, but it's a traditional arbitrary line that's happened in politics. That first 100 days, makes a big difference. Most of your productivity of a new term is in those first 100 days.
Mike Bost seems to know what's up. Hopefully his colleagues do as well.
All right. Got some thoughts on it. Let's talk 314-912-1019. Also, I think we were talking about like New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
A little bit ago. I think those kind of like fading in favorability.
Are they passe?
Are they like, are they like not the big deal that they used to be?
Mm-hmm.
We got to answer these questions as we head into the last part of 2024. In 2024, oh, we'll miss you or good frickin' riddance.
Yeah.
Which way?
Yeah.
Which way are we going to look at?
For podcast articles and more, find us on newstalkstl.com. Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
This holiday season, make your brand shine with Blue Sky Apparel and Promotions.
Need uniforms, signage, trophies, or promotional gear? We do it all. A woman-owned, local business that turns your brand vision into reality. From clothing to plaques, we've got you covered.
Call 314-739-4531 or visit blueskypromotion.com.
Blue Sky Apparel and Promotions. We're here to promote your brand.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
We'll get filled in on the latest school board meeting at the Francis Howell District with Jane Pushkar. She joins us Monday at 9:41.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
I really like all the things you're saying.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you very, very much.
News Talk STL.
Bill O'Reilly here. Check out the O'Reilly Update this afternoon at 3:45. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
This more Gary Hoey?
Actually, it's Steve Morse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A little Christmas music from Steve.
Stella and I have been negotiating the levels of Christmas music. We get towards the end of the week. I know there's a flood of it that I can't avoid probably.
We're in deep negotiations.
That's right. Okay, 1 an hour. Come on, 1 an hour is a lot. No, yeah. Oh man. As we get closer, obviously, at some point it'll be appropriate to have Christmas music, but we're still 8 days away from Christmas, so it's not appropriate.
And you'll be gone by then.
I'll be gone by then. I'll be on vacation. Yeah, that's what's funny is because like any other workplace, we have PTO days, and normally I will go to Florida to play in that tournament. Didn't do that this year, so I had time to just like
chill.
Use,
and you have to burn it.
I have to.
It's a use it or lose it situation.
Okay, so I would rather have carried it over because there were other tournaments. So I would have been like going to a tournament every 3 months.
Oh god!
Everybody's like, no, Mike, you can't constantly be globetrotting to play baseball when you host a talk show. So.
Yes, exactly. Is that your New Year's resolution to use more PTO days?
I always last year I actually there were some things that happened that I ended up thinking I was going to use them and didn't, and so the bosses let me roll a couple of them over, which was very nice because I could have lost them.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually a believer in use them.
Yes, absolutely.
Listen. That's part of your compensation. Use them, everybody needs to rest and sharpen the axe from time to time. So use your day. Never feel guilty about using your time off. It is literally part of your compensation at your workplace.
Right.
You've earned it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's yours.
Yeah. And like negotiate more time off if you want. When you get your like performance review. Don't be afraid to do that. Everybody thinks about terms of dollars, but the older I get, the more I value the time.
That's a big benefit. Yeah. It really is.
So YouGov did the survey on New Year's resolutions. And man, when I was in my 20s and even 30s, everybody was talking about what's your New Year's resolution? What's your plan to do? You remember there was always like a plan. You could buy things and like put them on your refrigerator that would remind you of your resolutions and like what was your whatever step plan to make it happen. If you're going to lose weight or whatever the case is, you had all the New Year's resolution people at the gym, for January, for a week and a half in January.
Oh yeah. Like all of the faithful gym people, they hate the beginning of the year.
I used to be a member at a place called Anytime Fitness, and I just work out at home now. But I remember the first week and a half of January, it was like, don't bother. There's all these people who are there for their New Year's resolution. They're not going to be there in a week.
Right.
I actually got to a thing where somebody came up like, hey, and I would just say, tell me your name in 2 weeks.
Right.
I would do it. I'm like, tell me your name in 2 weeks.
Right.
And they look at me like, most of you won't be here. Tell me your name in 2
Not
weeks.
wrong.
But I'll help you with the spot or I'll give you the advice. But
Yeah.
tell me your name in 2 weeks.
Right.
I don't know any of their names.
Right.
They
Of course,
make
they
it 2
didn't. They
weeks.
didn't make it 2 weeks.
Yeah, they didn't make it 2 weeks. But what's interesting is the only age group where the majority say they have a New Year's resolution is under 30 of adults. That's the only generation in America. All the rest, there are some, but the majority say they will not make a New Year's resolution. And the older you get, the 65 and older, it's not just no, it's hell no.
Well, I think, honestly, I think it's just a matter of experience.
Yeah.
Once you've gone through enough years where you've made the resolution, you broke the resolution, and you tried again with the same resolution several years in a row, you realize it's like, you know what, that's actually not, it's not helping me. It's not doing anything. It's just making me feel bad for not doing this. I'm not even going to talk about this. And then, of course, you get further along, and it's just like, why are you even talking to me about resolutions? It's like, what's wrong with you? Are you still one of those hopeful children who are making promises to yourself every year?
Well, and the funny part is that when they surveyed what are your New Year's resolutions for those who are making them, it's all the same thing
the same
every year. It's lose weight, eat healthier,
save more money,
invest more. I mean, it's the exact same stuff that we've been doing for generations in this country.
Now, we have a couple of friends who are definitely focusing in on eating better. And one of them has a nice big picture of RFK Jr. he's putting on his refrigerator door. And it's got a caption on it that says, "Don't you dare."
Are we talking about shirt off?
No, just the face.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Like,
is your meal RFK Jr. approved?
Yeah, exactly. Now, to be fair, there are certain things that that I have resolved to do at the beginning of the year, mostly just because it's important to set goals, especially when you hit certain milestones and things like that. And coming off of a break at the end of the year, it's good that you have a minute to catch your breath and think about those things. So the timing just kind of works, at least for me, to sort of retool. Is like, okay, what's my goal for the next year? In 2023, my goal was to build my wife a laundry room in the basement.
Okay.
That was 2023.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So
is there a laundry room in the basement?
There is now a laundry room there is a room. It actually has a door. There's
and you can put laundry in
in. You can't put laundry. You can't actually put laundry in the room. So technically it's done.
Is there a washer and dryer that's operable?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's been operable the entire time.
Any room's a laundry room if it's just a place to put the basket.
It just needed walls.
Okay.
So I put the walls in.
It's like any room. It's like that comedian just said, any room's a bedroom if you want it to be.
That's
just
true.
Put a bed in it. It's a bedroom.
Just lay down.
Any room's a laundry room if it's the definition is I can put my laundry in there.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh.
We're getting you in trouble with Janet again, aren't we?
Yeah.
We'll get you a hamper for Christmas.
Yes, please.
To our brave police officers and first responders, we say thank you for risking your lives to protect us. To all the incredible volunteers who've joined hands with the David Dorn Foundation to raise funds for equipment and services, we extend our heartfelt gratitude. We stand strong with our volunteers who give their time, talent, and dedication as a shield of support for those who rush into danger. The David Dorn Foundation gives a big thank you from our heart to yours. Visit dornfoundation.com and join as a volunteer.
Larry Connors here, and I'm heading to southern Italy for a tour of the most beautiful coastline in the world, the Amalfi Coast. I want you to join me. We'll travel for 11 magical days with professionals from Conservative Tours. They're the best tour operators in Italy. Conservative Tours, an A+ rating with the BBB. $54.88 is your cost. That includes airfare from St. Louis, luxury hotels, dining events you'll remember for years. Call 888-733-9494.